Up on holiday gift cards, Sickies will get you more. $25 gift cards will get you $5 bonus bucks. $100 in gift cards scores you an extra $25. Think of it as your holiday bonus for visiting Sickies. Explore new delights that keep Santa jolly, like signature Kobe beef burgers, mac and cheese bowls, wings, appetizers, shakes, and oh, did I mention 50 burgers and 50 brews? SickiesBurgers.com. We'll see you at Sickies.
For decades, Nodak Insurance Company has been serving our state's residents in good times and challenging times. We come together for the greater good, from simple acts of kindness to company-wide efforts that make a difference in our community. It's who we are, rooted in North Dakota and ready to serve when it matters most. Nodak Insurance Company, agents with answers.
Truck Headquarters. Gateway Chevrolet has new Chevy trucks arriving daily. Buy your new Chevy Silverado at Invoice. Yes, Invoice pricing on new Silverados with a fresh look, new interiors, and larger screens with easy-to-use technology. Save thousands on new Chevy Silverados with 4 different motors available. Dynamic fuel management, Bluetooth, backup camera, Apple CarPlay, and more. Save thousands and enjoy the smooth ride in your new Chevy Silverado from Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
K2WB, West Fargo, Fargo-Moorhead, and KPFX, HD3 Kindred, Bison 1660. Powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
We are Sports! And here's what you need to know.
Week 10 in the NFL getting underway last night with the Carolina Panthers 25-15 win over the Falcons. Dante Foreman, a huge night on the ground, 130 yards rushing and a touchdown. Marcus Mariota threw for 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick in the loss for Atlanta. They're now 4-6 and a half game out of first place in the NFC South. After the game, Falcons head coach Arthur Smith would not commit to naming a starting quarterback for next week. Bills head coach Sean McDermott not ruling out quarterback Josh Allen on Sunday in their game against Minnesota. He has missed the last 2 days of practice with an injury in his throwing elbow. One player they are ruling out, safety Jordan Poyer. He will not play on Sunday against the Vikings. This will be the second straight game he has missed since injuring his elbow against the Packers a month ago. Seahawks are expecting linebacker Darryl Taylor to play on Sunday versus the Bucs. He was a full participant in practice today after missing last week's game with a groin injury. I'm Kevin Wyatt.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. That's right. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders.
Insiders.
Rob Hipp and Andy Rickoff.
It is a Football Friday, and it is a full version of Football Friday on the Insiders. Welcome on in to the Theralson Ethanol Broadcast Center, everybody. Happy to be with you today. No Rob Hipp. If you follow Rob on social media, I believe it's just at Rob Hipp on Twitter and Rob Hipp on Facebook. If you follow him, you know what's happening. He is currently probably in a rental car somewhere between Lawrence, Kansas, and Carbondale, Illinois. Maybe getting pretty close to Carbondale at this point. I don't know if they're that far apart. I think he's got like a doable trip on the road in the car, but he is on the road. He's been on the road all week long. We will have Rob back next Monday, and then he goes back on the road for men's basketball. So he's kind of getting like most of next week. This is kind of like a where in the world is Rob Hipp kind of a moment or stretch of time on the Insiders, but maybe he'll join us again at some point. He is not with us today, just Andy, no Kyle Emanuel. He's getting himself in the zone, getting himself psyched up. Maybe he put the pads on this morning or the Letterman's jacket or something just to kind of get that feeling again as he coaches Shanley, assistant coach, not the head coach, but he's coaching. He's obviously on the sidelines as a coach for Shanley football, and they play tonight, 6:30, in the state championship game against Bismarck Century, the final one of Dakota Bowl 2022. Currently, it is a 20-16 lead for Central Cass over Velvet Drake Animus Garrison in the first game, the Class B 11-man football game. It is a barn burner, a classic to start up Dakota Bowl 2022. 2016 Squirrels over the Aggies, 10:30 to go, fourth quarter.
I wonder how they decide which name comes first for Velva, Drake, Animus, and Garrison.
Well, I'm pretty sure, now I could be completely wrong on this, so all of our great listeners in Velva, Drake, Animus, or Garrison, or anybody else that knows, feel free to call in, 701-476-1660 on the Epic Companies hotline. But I believe it's just Velva, years back. And, there's small towns in North Dakota, so you co-op, it's what you do. Became Velva and Drake, and then the next one that wanted to be added into it because they're too small was Animus. And then just a year or so ago, Garrison's like, we need to join the co-op. So it kind of goes that way. I like it if it was maybe alphabetical.
They don't have
Animus, Drake, Garrison, Velva.
I just wonder if there's any discussions like, well, I think we should come first because we're Animus. We have the A, so we're the first letter of the alphabet. So
or who has the most players on the team? Biggest population. Maybe that, you can flex your weight a little bit.
Fight it out.
In the co-ops, but if somebody knows exactly why, I think that's the reasoning why, but if someone knows exactly why, feel free to give us a call. A couple of the players just got their helmets stuck together. That was interesting, but they're good now. And it is the Aggies currently driving across midfield here in Dakota Bowl 2022. I've called games in this tournament, or the state title game. We've called the entire thing before here on this station. It's just with basketball and football going on. Clearly, it's a little bit more hectic this time of year for us. Not usually able to cover a ton of games during the season, so it feels weird for us not to cover the season and then to cover the Dakota Bowl. And again, Rob Hipp is on vacation. Not on vacation. He's on the road.
Vacation.
Definitely not vacation for him. He is on the road, not in studio, so it'll make it even more difficult. It'd basically be just Micah calling every one of those games, and I don't even know who would produce all the games, but we could try and figure that out maybe in years to come. But always fun. It's a great day, great time, and you get all these, some of the smaller towns. We actually had it yesterday at Sicky's. It was a great turnout at Sicky's because about a half hour into it, in walks probably 5 families from, either Velvet, Drake, Animus, or Garrison, I would have to assume. And they're there with the kids, and the parents are there, and they're coming up and taking yard signs and footballs, and get some of these smaller towns that come to Fargo, and it just creates a really cool atmosphere where basically the entire town shows up for your team. Central Cass clearly isn't that far away, but I've heard basically everybody in the town is here. Like, the town is just shut down. The whole side of the Fargo Dome is completely done up in red and white, which is great. The Squirrels were, I believe, an unranked team going into the tournament at least. They weren't one of the top 4 seeds, but took down the number 1 seed Kindred, had some great games early on. The Aggies are 12-0. They're kind of a little bit more expected to be here than Central Cass at 9-2. But I remember calling some games for Central Cass a couple of years back. In our high school coverage, I think it's probably 2 or 3 years ago when Tommy Butler kind of took over that program for Central Cass. And I was saying, he's got something. They throw it more than most teams at that level. They have some good athletes. They've always had good athletes, but they just couldn't put it together. They were always one of the bottom teams in their whether it be a conference division. It's kind of changed a few times with classification changes. But I remember saying, I feel like Tommy Butler's got something there, and he got some kids. And I thought they could get to the point of playing for a state title, and it just happens that is exactly what they're doing right now. A chance for the Squirrels to be state champions, and they're currently up by 4 points with 8.5 minutes to go from the Fargo Dome, the first of 4 games. And again, congratulations to all the teams, all 8 that have made it here. Definitely a special shout-out to Kyle Emanuel and that Deacons team. Nothing against Bismarck Century, but I'm going to be cheering for the Deacons tonight.
No, I'm not a Deacons guy. Sorry, Kyle.
That's fine for you.
Sorry,
From
Kyle.
Fargo Davies, you can't cheer for the rival down 25th. I get it.
The 25th Street rivalry, I got to stay true to the alma mater.
And I appreciate you not lying. Saying, I'm going to cheer for him, and then you're not going to. Be honest. Yeah, I'm not cheering for you. Take that, Kyle. I hope you lose.
I can cheer for his position group. I hope his
get a couple sacks.
Line, I hope they look good tonight.
Okay.
I hope the Kyle Emanuel coaching works out for him as it has all season.
I know on the WDAY pregame show they do Kyle's Clicker, like a segment where he kind of takes you through some plays. So it'd be like Kyle's coaching clinic. You want his defensive ends, his defensive linemen to look good.
Now that's an alliteration.
It is.
Kyle's coaching clinic.
Kyle's coaching clinic on a fun football Friday. Frito Pie-less Friday without Rob Hipp here as well. But it's going to be a fun show. We'll give you some updates as the games go on, or as this game goes on, especially now that it's getting down towards to crunch time here between these two teams at 11B. But we'll give you a couple updates. Dakota Bowl 2022. We will have a few guests on. It is a Football Friday. Plenty of football coverage for you. First off at 11:30 today, by Scott, we got him. John Scott, a TV reporter for the Buffalo Bills at News 1 out there in Buffalo in the area. Had John on back during the NFL draft because we weren't sure where Christian Watson was going to go. The Bills were at the end of the first round, and it's like, you got Stephon Diggs, but you can always use another receiver. For Josh Allen, why not make a strength a strength? And had John on then. He loved the idea, by the way, of Christian Watson going there. Absolutely loved it. We know it didn't happen, but he was all for it. But kind of kept in touch with John a little bit. Sent him a text earlier this week with the Vikings facing the Bills and was like, hey, you got any time later in the week? And he said Friday would work just fine before they get going with their media availability at practice for Fridays. So clearly there are some things to talk about, not just the Vikings versus the Bills, but Josh Allen, third straight day of not practicing yesterday. Is he practicing today? Have you heard anything yet, Mr. Twitter warrior back there?
He was not practicing today. So when players don't practice on Friday, they aren't set for the game. But I think the quarterback is a different position because they need him as healthy as possible. So I'm trying not to read into it as much as the Vikings fan in me wants to be like, he's not going to play. He's totally not playing.
I've always thought, I know he hasn't practiced all week. Does Josh Allen need to practice to know the game plan?
He ain't need no practice, man. We talk about practice.
Yeah, Allen Iverson in a bit, right? He doesn't need practice to know what's happening. He can watch the film on the Vikings defense, be like, okay, this is what they do. This is what plays might work here. This is what the look's going to look like. He doesn't need to be going through, live practice reps to be able to play. Does that mean he's going to play on Sunday? No. If I had to guess, I'd say he's not going to play on Sunday for a couple of reasons. One, that it's a bigger injury than I think people have kind of let on during the week. It's basically a Tommy John type of thing. It's that UCL in your elbow. Now, it's worse for pitchers than for quarterbacks because of the way you throw the ball. But, it's a fairly good injury. And also, if I'm the Bills, I know our division's better, but you're still the favorite in that division, even if you lose this game to Minnesota. I know in the AFC you've also got to try and win as many games as you can because you need to have home field advantage, but the Bills can go on the road and win a game if needed in the playoffs. What you need is Josh Allen in January and hopefully February. That's when you need Josh Allen. Do you need him now too? Yeah, you probably do, but you really need him in the playoffs. You cannot afford to play him and then something worse happens to that elbow and then he's out for a month plus. I think they play the long game. They be cautious. They be safe with them. They have a capable backup. Case Keenum's a capable backup. He knows what he's doing. Him and Stephon Diggs clearly have a little bit of that chemistry probably still. And you have Case Keenum for a reason. I think, obviously, he's not Josh Allen, but he is more than capable of leading you to victory at home against the Vikings. So I think they go with Case Keenum this week.
I think Josh Allen's going to play. One, for the reason that they lost to Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. Divisional, actually.
Divisional, yep.
Divisional in Kansas City. And I think if they play that game in Buffalo, Buffalo might have come out with the win. So I think Buffalo is really, really shooting for home field advantage, and their division is still good. They have the Jets right on their tail. The Dolphins are on their tail. The Patriots are no slouches. They have a 5-4 record.
They are 0-2 in the division, by the way.
Something tells me that Josh Allen is going to play. And also, back on Tuesday, Stephon Diggs tweeted, "Rejoice." That's what he tweeted on Tuesday. So I'm reading in a little bit.
Oh my gosh, you're reading into a tweet that literally says rejoice.
Rejoice.
He could have just had a really good feeling that day. Could have woke up and maybe listen to some a worship song or something. I don't know. It doesn't. Maybe he thought it was going to be a season-ending injury. It's not a season-ending injury. Rejoice. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna allude to. Was that it's not a season ender for him.
Gosh, you and your Twitter.
But rejoice. That's what Diggs was happy about on Tuesday night.
You read into everything back there.
Everything has meaning.
Yep, everything has meaning. Of course it does for you. Twitter warrior Micah Bindi for you. So we have John Scott. We'll get John's thoughts. I mean, he's there in practice. We'll get his thoughts on that one. And this entire team, clearly it's, brings back up memories for Vikings fans, Stephon Diggs, all that kind of stuff, Minneapolis Miracle, him and Case Keenum. So there's some things to touch on with John. Get his thoughts on that and the AFC as a whole. And then also later on at noon today, we'll talk with Jeff Kolpack of the Forum, go over Bison football, big-time game with the NDSU and Southern Illinois. We'll get his thoughts on this game coming up. We'll also get his thoughts on NDSU men's and women's basketball as those two teams have gotten going. The men play last night. They lose kind of one-sidedly to Kansas. It's fair to say that. Kansas took their foot off the pedal a little bit. I believe it was, a 23-point win for Kansas in the end. But it was basically 30 points at halftime, and it probably could have been more. I'm not reading too much into it. I know fans will. I get it. And I want to win one of those games. I haven't won a game against a high major or a top 25 team at least, and since the win against Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament back in, was that 14? So it's been a little while, right? I kind of had a feeling that game wasn't going to go well last night because of a couple of reasons. One, Kansas is really freaking good. I mean, the defending national champions for a reason, right? But also, the second game of those swings like they went on, they never go well for low majors, especially ones that are really young, that haven't had a lot of experience on the road, like NDSU this season. They were on the road for a week, an entire week, away from sleeping in your own bed. You have a flight down to Arkansas, then you've got a bus trip over to Lawrence, and you're going to go play, practice in that gymnasium there. Then you got to go back to the hotel. Like, it's an excuse. Yes, it's an excuse, right? But it's a real thing. When you're away from home the whole time, a week on the road, it's a little bit different when you're on that road for a week, opposed to just a couple of days when you have that Arkansas game. You felt like, to me at least, the chance was to beat Arkansas. I didn't think that Kansas game was going to go particularly well, and really it didn't from the get-go last night.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say it's a safe assumption to be like, you weren't feeling your best. I would feel my best like sleeping in my own bed, being in your own hometown, playing on your own home court. But Kansas is a different animal. They're
Bog Allen's crazy.
They are nuts over there. The team is super good every single year. They're just a different kind of animal that NDSU doesn't face a whole ton. So they're not going to find another team like that this year.
Doesn't mean there's not things you can take away. Doesn't mean there's not things to work on. Just like the same thing against Arkansas. Something I took away, Bowden Scumberg can score 17 points a game. You're going to be in really, really good shape because you know what you're going to get, or you think you know what you're going to get from the big fellas, Andrew Morgan and Grant Nelson, most days and nights in the Summit League. If you get the outside shooting and the perimeter scoring from Bowden Scumberg and guys like Tajavis Miller, you should be absolutely fine. Other thing I'll take away from last night, the Bison need to do a better job of handling pressure. And when teams get up in their face, are they going to experience that a ton in league play? Not necessarily, but you will. SDSU will get in your grill. Omaha, I think, will get in your face from what I've seen in a couple of games under Coach Crutchfield. Same with USD. Like, there's going to be teams that pressure the perimeter and say, we can't let them pass the ball inside. That's what Kansas said. They got two great post players. I heard it from Norm Roberts, their head coach, on the ESPN Plus coverage last night when I was watching that and listening, of course, to our coverage here. He was saying they got two really, really good post players. We don't want to have to guard them one-on-one. So we're going to try and deny the ball in. And that is done by pressuring the ball on the perimeter and not letting them have clean passing lanes inside. When that happens to NDSU, because it will happen all year, they got to do a better job of handling that pressure and getting shots off inside. Because in the first half, they took 28 shots. 20 of them were threes.
Yeah, they weren't attacking the paint.
Nope,
or
weren't getting inside.
Anything inside the arc very much in that first half, and I don't think Coach Dave Richmond was all that happy with that. Kind of
didn't handle the pressure
on the
well.
Outside. They did better for it in the second half.
Yep.
Getting inside and attacking, being aggressive, but not what they want. Their first 12 shots, 11 of them were threes,
and some of them were some deep threes as well. And I mean, that's going to happen every once in a while. You're playing again a really good defensive team, really long, lengthy, athletic team in Kansas. But you got some athletes in the Summit League, too. I'll say it again. The Summit League's a good league. Did it look like that last night if you were watching that Kansas game against a Summit League team? Probably not. But it's a good league with some really good athletes. And all these teams are young in the season. And usually when you're young and you're early in the season, the top teams with the better athletes just look a little bit better. But Summit League's got some athletes. And teams in the league are going to do exactly what Kansas did last night. They're going to pressure the perimeter. They're going to pressure Luke Yoder, Jakari White. They're going to pressure Tajavis Miller a ton. And you've got to find a way to get the ball inside and get touches to Andrew Morgan and Grant Nelson. You just have to, because they're going to be what carries you on the offensive end of the court. And not just them shooting, but getting the ball to them then draws attention, and that creates open threes. So when they get those threes, they're not contested or 5 feet behind the line. They're more open threes in a comfortable spot, catch and shoot, or it creates lanes for guys to cut off of those two to get easy buckets around the rim as well.
Yeah, I want to see I want to see some more post action from both Andrew Morgan and Grant Nelson, but like Kansas said, like Norm Roberts alluded to, that they were defending the post really, really well. That's what their focus was. Don't let NDSU get the post touches, or at least limit them. And I want to see some more. I want to see some Marshall Bjorklund-esque like moves down low from both Grant Nelson and Andrew Morgan. I just love like the touch that Bjorklund showed throughout his career. I want to see a little bit more of that as the season goes on from both of those guys.
Yep, other teams in the Summit League have played that top competition as well. Omaha faced Kansas and Nebraska, lost 89-64 to Kansas, so also lost by 25, just like, same thing NDSU ended up losing by there. Nebraska, when Omaha faced them last night, that was a 75-61 final. By the way, Sam Griesel got his 1,000th point in his college career. Pretty cool moment for the former Bison there. Now turned hometown kid with Nebraska playing for the Huskers there in Lincoln. But other teams in the Summit League have faced some of that top competition as well. Hasn't gone great for them, so don't read too much into the first two games. I don't think many fans are, because you knew going in it was Arkansas and Kansas. But there's definitely some things to work on. And now they come home and they have their home opener on Sunday. It's your first chance to go in person to the Shack and see this Bison men's basketball team. Let's make it a fun environment, raucous environment. Pack the Shack. Get out there and enjoy this men's basketball team. There's going to be some high-flying moments. Grant Nelson, he cocked it back a couple of times and tried to throw it down last night. He'll be doing that throughout the season, and they're going to be a fun team to watch, because I do think they have some shooting that I didn't think they had going into these two games. I've seen some decent shooting from a few players as well, and we know what they have inside in both Grant Nelson and Andrew Morgan. We have tickets to give away, by the way, to the home opener Sunday against Pacific, who they faced last year and got a win against. So good chance to see a win as well at the Shack. We have a couple of tickets. We'll give away, how about some family 4-packs, two tickets to NDSU men's basketball versus Pacific and NDSU women's basketball versus Valley City State. You can win 4 tickets, 2 to each game. Men's basketball Sunday, women's basketball Monday, and make a little bit of a Bison 2-day tour of the Shack. We'll give away a bunch of those prize packs throughout the day, but we'll give away our first one right now. Call right now to 701-476-1660. We'll go, since it's 4 tickets, caller 4. Caller 4, 701-476-1660, wins a 4-pack of tickets, 2 to men's basketball, 2 to women's basketball, and you can go see men's and women's basketball in person at the Shack. The women's game that was supposed to be last night got canceled because of the road conditions, so it will be the home opener for both of these teams, actually. On Sunday night for the men, that game is at 1 p.m. at the Shack for the men, and then for the women's game on Monday night, it is 7 p.m. against the Vikings of Valley City State. So make sure you get out there and support both of those teams. 3rd and 3 game on the line right now. Central Cass and Velva Drake Animus Garrison. It's the Aggies with a 22-20 lead over Central Cass right now, trying to hold on, though. 3rd and 3, and they should be able to capture a state title for the Aggies here in just a bit. We'll take our first break. We'll come back, do a little bit more talk of what happened last night in Thursday Night Football, and then we'll also come back and have Jeff Kolpack on at noon, and 11:30, John Scott talking Buffalo Bills and Vikings.
This is the Insiders on your exclusive home for North Dakota State Athletics, Bison 1660.
The flag, it is not just a piece of cloth. It's honor, respect, and sacrifice. It's blood, sweat, and tears. It's inspiration, dreams, and hope. It is me, it is you, it is us. I'm American, and I'm free today because someone fought and bled and died for me. I vow that as long as there is breath in me, my body, that their sacrifices will not be in vain. I am the flag.
On the Rocks Craft Cocktails bring natural, refreshing, bar-quality, balanced cocktails to the ready-to-drink category. Natural ingredients, no preservatives. Like the Mai Tai with Carusan Rum, the Margarita with Hornitos Tequila, an Old Fashioned with Knob Creek Bourbon, an Aviation with Larios Gin, or get spicy with a Jalapeno Pineapple Margarita with Tres Generaciones Tequila. Or maybe live it up with the Cosmopolitan with Effin' Vodka. On the Rocks Craft Cocktails. Hard to choose, easy to pour. Please drink responsibly.
Are you an electrician? Are you looking for a change? JDP Electric is looking for commercial, industrial, and service electricians. JDP is looking for both journeyman and apprentice electricians. You could start your career today with a family-owned and operated business who's been serving our community for over 20 years. Full-time positions available with great pay and benefits. Call 701-232-1991 or email info@jdpelectric.net. Start your new tomorrow today. Come be a part of the JDP difference.
Your brilliant proposal starts with Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry, your source for mined and certified lab-grown diamonds. Looking to create a custom engagement ring? Our team of jewelry experts will help you create that perfect ring, mesmerizing her, creating an heirloom to be cherished for a lifetime. Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry, 3241 42nd Street South, Fargo. Online at schmidtsjewelry.com.
Schmidt's Gems and Fine
Hi, this is Jennifer Free. We recently had Rusco Windows do our windows and patio. What stood out to us about Rusco was that they really listened to our ideas and provided suggestions based off of them. They were personal, professional, and maintained constant communication throughout the process.
Hi, this is Jeff Olson from Rusco Window and Cabinets. With 4 generations, 70 years, and over 1 million installations by our family, it's easy to see why we're your window and cabinet experts. RuscoWindowCompany.com.
The Bison Hotline post-game show is broadcasting live this year from Applebee's on 19th Avenue North in Fargo. Come see the Bison 1660 crew live after every NDSU football game and register to win prizes including Bison 1660 t-shirts, tickets to upcoming games, and a whole lot more. Plus, take advantage of the great food and drink specials at Applebee's. Bison Hotline broadcasting live after every NDSU football game from Applebee's on 19th Avenue North in Fargo, right across from the Fargo Dome. Horns up.
If you need any professional advice, they may not be your guys.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But if you need information on NDSU, then they got you covered. It's the Insiders on Bison 1660.
Congratulations to Murray, correct?
Yep, it was
Murray. Murray wins the family 4-pack of tickets to Bison basketball. 2 to men's basketball, which home opener, Sunday night against Pacific, 1 p.m. at the Shack. Get out there, support it. Make the Shack a fun place. Been a great atmosphere for a couple of years now. Alcohol sales have gone fine there. It was a good kind of test run for the Fargo Dome. Everything's gone fine there as well this year. So home opener there for Bison men's basketball against Pacific, Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. And then Bison women's basketball as well. 2 tickets there at 7 p.m. The home opener for NDSU against Valley City State. You can hear both of those games, by the way, right here on Bison 1660. Men's game from 12, so noon to about 4 o'clock. Starting at noon with Bison shoot-around pregame show with Micah Bindi back there. How's that gone for you?
Awesome.
There you go.
Fun previewing that games before we throw it over to Rob Hipp. And Dexter Werner will be back for the home game.
Big Dex for the home opener. Love that. Yeah, you've been doing a good job with that. And Bison wrap-up show as well, post-game show. And then women's basketball on Monday night, 7 o'clock start, which means 6:30 start on the pregame show for the Case IH pregame show. You can hear both of those games right here. Actually, on Monday, I just said it completely wrong. Men's basketball you can hear on Bison 1660 and on 107.9 The Fox on Sunday night. Monday night's women's basketball game will actually be on 94.5 The City. 94.5 The City. 94.5 FM The City for Bison women's basketball on Monday night against Valley City State, because we have the Bison football radio show that will be here on Bison 1660 with the head coach, Matt Entz. By the way, Dakota Bowl 2022, 9-man Class B championship. Velvet Drake Animus up 22-20 on Central Cass with a 4th and 1 coming up. 4th and goal from the 1. Central Cass was stopped on a quarterback-designed run in the backfield. There was a flag, though, and now they're going to have to stop him again. Nope, they get the ball. So it was after the play was over. It looks like after the play was over, something maybe unsportsmanlike or something like that. Velvet Drake Animus, I believe, gets the stop, and they would hold on. 4th and goal from the 1. An unblocked player for the Aggies coming off the edge, tackling the quarterback and getting the stop to win a state title. How awesome is that?
You got it. There's probably no better feeling than doing that, making that final play. on the goal line, getting a 4th down stop. That's what dreams are made of.
I mean, I don't think any kids are practicing that in the backyard when they're like 5 or 6. It's usually like, oh, game's on the line. Take the snap, throw it, touchdown. That's what you're practicing. You're not practicing being the defensive end or like imagining being the defensive end, but that is, kind of what dreams are made of a bit.
It's what I used to do in my parents' driveway where I'm like shooting hoops and I'm like, oh, there's 10 seconds left. And I'm like calling the play in my mind. I'm like, even though if I missed it, I would be like, oh, somehow he still has time. And then we can shoot it again. But that's what these guys are thinking about when they grow up, about making great plays in a state title game.
Yeah, so Velvet Drake, Animus Garrison has the ball. Just got to go forward. You can't really take a knee because they're up against the goal line here. Just go forward a little bit. Don't get caught in the backfield because obviously a safety here, 22-20, a safety does tie this game up. So you got to make sure you're going forward on this. Take the snap, though. They go forward, down, still the ball. Everything's good. For a couple of snaps here, 1:08 left. Central Cass does have a couple of timeouts, so they can kind of stop the clock here a little bit. But just hold on to the ball for the Aggies, and they should be able to salt away a state championship at 11-man Class B, which is pretty cool and awesome for them. So, last night, Thursday night football, just another clunker. Oh, I think the schedule starts getting a little bit better with teams on there, but Falcons, Panthers, it was in the rain, so I give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt, but man, very few touchdowns, very few real offensive possessions doing a whole lot. It became a kicking fest a bit, and even the kickers were missing extra points. Just another sloppy Thursday night game.
Thursday night is turning into like the worst night of football because the games haven't been all that good this year. But also, I look forward to whatever meme pops up on Twitter because it's become a running joke now that it's so bad.
It is.
There is zero good football on Thursday night this year. I can't even think of a game that actually was good. Maybe the opener was the opener. Who was the opener? Rams.
Well, it technically wasn't Thursday night football because that wasn't on Amazon Prime. The Rams-Bills one.
But it was Thursday night.
Yes, it was a Thursday night game. Actually, it was a blowout a bit, if I remember correctly.
The Bills did end up blowing them out. At least we saw some points, though.
Yes, we did see some points. I think a couple of weeks ago there was the Cardinals game. It was a couple of Thursdays ago. Cardinals-Saints was tons of points. They were in like the 40s and 30s. But outside of that, they've had games with literally no touchdown.
Yeah, some bad clunkers, but I look forward to seeing all the memes. Like the one where Marcus Mariota is literally, his back is on the ground, head is aimed up towards the sky, and he's trying to throw a ball still when...
I don't know what he was thinking.
I don't know.
He was literally tackled and like on the ground, but as he's going to the ground, he's just like, I'm going to chuck it up in the air and see what happens.
Yeah, where's it going to go?
Just so dumb. Trying to avoid the sack. The sack is better than anything that can happen when you are staring to the ceiling and throwing the football. The sack is better than anything that's going to happen in that situation. I guarantee you, Marcus Mariota. And by the way, Arthur Smith, head coach of the Falcons, was asked after the game, who's going to be your starting quarterback going forward? He would not commit either way. They did draft Desmond Ridder, who I think was the best quarterback in that draft this last year. I really do. Him or Kenny Pickett. I was big on Desmond Ridder from his days at Cincinnati and just kind of being a winner and winning a lot of games there and making the plays needed to win. I think Desmond Ridder could be a decent quarterback for him, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I'd at least give him a shot at this point.
There's better options than Marcus Mariota, and you might as well figure it out.
Yep.
Let's see what Desmond Ridder has. I've always been on the side of the coin that's like, play your rookie quarterback. I
know they could still win their division. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but they're not going anywhere. And it's a really good quarterback draft. So figure out if Desmond Ridder has anything that you might want to build on, and if not, go draft somebody.
Yep. There's quarterbacks coming up in this year's class and then next year. So figure out what you have in Desmond Ridder. If he's viable, if he's a viable option, great. You found out. Don't keep pushing it off and then waiting. It's just like, oh, do we have to draft a quarterback this year? Well, you got to solve that issue right now.
Because you know what you have in Marcus Mariota. That's a known commodity at this point. Velvet Drake Adamus Garrison punts it away 4th and 5. Got the punt away, not a gimme. You're on your own end zone there. Bad snap, safety, tie game just like that, but they get the punt away. 13 seconds to work with from midfield, no timeouts for the Central Cass Squirrels to try and win themselves a state title. See if you have one of those crazy miracle plays in the first game of Dakota Bowl 2022. We'll take a break, though. We'll come back. John Scott, TV reporter for the Buffalo Bills, joins us next on a Football Friday on The Insiders.
Hear the herd. Hear Bison's 1660.
Hi, I'm Grant Nelson, NDSU Bison basketball player. Whether it's playing basketball or driving in my car, I want to do everything to the best of my ability, on the court and off the court. So when I'm in the car, I up my game with the Drive for Less program from Nodak Insurance. I could save up to 30% on my premium just for driving safely. To me, that's a slam dunk. Download the Nodak Insurance app today.
Homewood Suites wants you to feel at home. This upscale extended stay brand understands that being away from home can be challenging. So Homewood Suites in North Fargo has designed their amenities to make life easier for you. At Homewood, you can relax in a variety of suites with full kitchens, complimentary hot breakfast, outdoor grills, and recreational areas that make stays more familiar. When you need to be away, but you still want to feel like home, choose Homewood Suites by Hilton. Find out more and book a stay at homewoodssuites.com.
Israel Adesanya defends his middleweight title this Saturday at UFC 281. And with a fight card this stacked, you don't want to miss a single round. Get to Twin Peaks early and grab a spot for front row seats to the Octagon. Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for their e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Just visit twinpeaksrestaurant.com/peaks-club to get started today. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Need holiday cash fast? Corwin Auto will put a little extra jingle in your pocket this holiday season. Corwin Auto wants to buy your used vehicle and will offer more money than ever to buy it. Bring in your vehicle to any Corwin location and have it appraised. Get an instant offer and walk away with cash on the spot. There has never been a better time to sell your vehicle and get top dollar for it. So let Corwin Auto help stuff your stocking this season. Stop by any of the 4 Corwin Auto locations today.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
Some glimpses of sunshine on your Friday with highs around 42. Overnight, clear and cold with temps in the low 20s. And on your Saturday, increasing clouds and 47. This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a cold snap rolls in. Ditch the coat and snuggle up with peace of mind, knowing that Minn Kota's energy-efficient vinyl will block out the brutal cold and save you money. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life.
Brooks in motion right to left, fake the fly sweep, hand off the C-Sport, up the middle, touchdown! Easton Stick!
Bison great and Chargers quarterback Easton Stick joins the Insiders each week to discuss his journey in the NFL and reminisce on some of his favorite moments in a Bison uniform. Our conversations with Easton are brought to you by Red River Commodities, The Spirit Shop, and Men's Hair Company. Each week, Easton Stick on the Insiders here on Bison 1660.
From the court to the field and everywhere in between. Your home for NDSU athletics, Bison 1660.
Welcome back to the Insiders. Andy Rickoff here with you on a Football Friday. Congratulations to the Velvet Drake Animus Garrison Aggies, state champions at Class B 11-man football, taking down the Central Cass Squirrels 22-20. That's a final in Game 1 of Dakota Bowl 2022. So congratulations to them. Got a sack on the last play. Attempted Hail Mary from Central Cass, sack instead, runs the clock out, and the Aggies are your 2022 champions in game number 1 of 4 in the Dakota Bowl. All of our coverage, NDSU and Southern Illinois this week, brought to you by our game week sponsor, Hoffman Trucking. Are you tough enough to drive yellow? Hoffman Trucking, a Jamestown-based distribution company, has some openings, and they would like to meet you. If you're looking for regional, over-the-road, or oil field work, they want to talk with you right now. Drivers must have at least 18 months Class A driving experience, but Hoffman Trucking offers weekly pay, fully paid single benefits, 401k, and more, as well as a sign-on bonus. If you want to turn wrenches, they also have mechanic positions open as well. Call a recruiter today at 701-252-7220 or go online to hoffmantrucking.com. That's HOFMANN trucking.com. 1 F, 2 N's for Hoffman Trucking. Let's go over right now to our Epic Companies hotline. Talk with Buffalo Bills TV reporter John Scott. Nice enough to give us some time. Our first guest on this Football Friday as the Vikings, with their 7-1 record, head on out to Buffalo, Orchard Park, take on the Bills, and who knows who's going to be starting at quarterback. John, great to have you on once again. How is it this time of year out there in Buffalo?
It's been absolutely fantastic, but the weather has already begun to turn here. It's pouring rain. The temperatures right now, upper 50s, low 60s. Nice. We've seen sun in 70s earlier this week. But as they say in Game of Thrones, winter is coming, and we're going to see it beginning Sunday.
The same way here. We've been 60s and 70s in Fargo, North Dakota, and then the last 2 days, basically just an ice storm. Like rain and freezing rain and snow mix kind of thing, and slick conditions. So it's definitely on its way towards you guys, and the lake effect stuff is a whole different beast once you get out there near Buffalo. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving us some time. I won't waste any more. I'll get right into it. Is Josh Allen going to play? Like, that's the elephant in the room, right?
Literally, Sean McDermott's latest update, I'd say about 2 hours ago, a little less, was he's referring to it as hour by hour. I will say that we get to see about 5 minutes of the stretching portion of practice here. Did that about an hour ago. Josh Allen was not out on the practice field for that portion. Who knows what that means after we left? But as things stand currently, I would say it's highly doubtful that he is going to be on the field and play against the Vikings on Sunday.
I love it's hour by hour. That's phenomenal. Like, it could be bad this hour, next hour, who knows at this point. But I get it. He's Josh Allen. He should be taken pretty seriously and treated right, because the whole season kind of hinges on that elbow right now. What do you know about the injury? I mean, I know it's the UCL. I know it's kind of like a Tommy John type of thing, but in terms of discomfort and risk to it getting worse, is there risk to it getting worse, or is it just kind of pain management?
The Bills hold things close to the vest in terms of injuries with anyone, but they've taken it to a whole new level this week in terms of the detail that they're willing to go into regarding Josh Allen's injury. Sean McDermott handled it well on Wednesday in his first media availability after the injury, but he did not take the bait on any questions in terms of severity. Did they dodge long-term issues? Pain management. Can he grip a football? Has he tried gripping a football? Has he tried throwing it? And none of that came out here Friday morning when we spoke to him once again. So the media, national media, there's been some reports out there. I mean, there was something earlier in the week that said he would be limited, and he hasn't practiced at all. So I think truly we don't know the extent of what he's going through. All we know is, plain and simple, it was day-to-day on Wednesday. It's now hour by hour on Friday. Saw him walking off the field yesterday with a brace, wrap, sleeve, something on that right elbow. But that's about the extent of where we know things stand with Josh Allen and the elbow injury.
So Sunday, are we guessing minute by minute then, once we get to Sunday? It's kind of moved that direction. Just kidding with you.
I mean, it's certainly possible here. Again, all signs point to that he's not going to play, and just generally the Bills tend to take a very cautious, long-term approach with injuries. They never, if a guy's on the fence, more times than not, he will not play, as opposed to almost power through. With all of that information and history known, I just, again, find it incredibly unlikely Josh Allen plays Sunday, though he has not yet been ruled out.
John Scott of Spectrum News 1 in Buffalo. You can find him on Twitter at John Scott TV. For the Bills, though, we do know a couple of things. Jordan Poyer, their safety, is out for this game. Same with Gregory Rousseau. I believe they have been ruled out. How big of a loss on the defensive end is that for the Bills? Because if you don't have Josh Allen, you still have a great defense, but those are two pretty good players on that defense.
Right. Rousseau has had a really nice second season, really taken a step forward that the Bills wanted to see, especially playing opposite of a guy the caliber of Von Miller. So that's a loss, especially in terms of pass rushing, but the Bills are deep on their defensive front. So that one won't move the needle nearly as much as the loss of Jordan Poyer. Is a first-team All-Pro safety and playing like it once again this season, even missing a few games. He's second in the league with 4 interceptions, and they're missing the other All-Pro safety for the rest of the season, to Micah Hyde, with a neck injury. So the loss of Poyer, certainly bigger than that of Rousseau, and just generally, he is the captain. He is the guy who helps really run things in a secondary that is young. Young safety next to him, his replacement, a young player. You have had two rookies rotating at one of the cornerback spots with a former 7th-round pick just a few years in the league in Dane Jackson at the other spot. So losing him, his tackling ability, his communication, that is a very big deal, especially when you know you're dealing with a passing attack with a guy like Justin Jefferson who can take the top off of things and does it regularly. To not have a player the caliber of Jordan Poyer in the back end of the Bills' defense, it's certainly a significant issue.
And John Scott here joining us. Bills and Vikings noon for their game on Sunday, which is good news for Vikings fans. That's primetime Kirk Cousins. We like that time when Kirk is playing, obviously. 7-1 Vikings. If Josh Allen is not there, it's going to be Case Keenum, which the Vikings fans know extremely well from his days here with the Vikings. What do you think the offense would look, or how do you think the offense would look differently with Case Keenum and not Josh Allen?
Well, the mobility is the number one thing. Josh Allen's running ability, he's the leading rusher on the team. And some of the most dynamic Houdini acts and things that really sustain drives and make things just go for the Bills revolve around Josh Allen's legs. Case Keenum, he's not a statue, but he certainly can't do what Josh Allen can, because really very few, if anyone, can do what Josh Allen can running the football. But I think from a running the offense generally, they seem to maintain things will be the same. I wonder, the Bills' offense has been a bit out of sync the last 6 quarters, second half of the Sunday night game against the Packers and all last week against the New York Jets in losing that game. I wonder if maybe Josh Allen can bail out the offense at times, and bringing a guy in like Case Keenum to potentially have to play will force that unit to have everyone elevate their play, to everyone kind of go more generic of sorts and get back to ground zero here. It's definitely a loss. He's not Josh Allen and can't do what Josh Allen can, but I believe this offense still, with the amount of talent they have, can still be one that can push the Vikings, and I think the Bills still would have a chance to win the football game with or without Josh Allen.
I'm right there with you, and if you're a Bills fan, I know Josh Allen means a ton. He's a top 3, top 5, top 1 quarterback. You can make the argument for any one of those, probably. But if you think you got the ability to win a Super Bowl, you need more than just Josh Allen, right? You need to be able to have a complete team effort. No one player can be the difference between a win or a loss, especially at home. So they definitely still have the capability of beating the Minnesota Vikings this week. If they're going to do that, they have to stop Justin Jefferson. T.J. Hawkinson also looked great in his first game in purple last week. How do you think they go about trying to slow down the passing attack of Kirk Cousins and the Vikings?
And this maybe is where the loss of Greg Rousseau comes into play here. The Bills really upgraded their defensive front because they knew the importance, especially after losing twice now in the past couple of years to the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs and Patrick Mahomes. The biggest key to slowing down an offense and a passing attack is if you can produce pressure with just your front four. And the Bills have been doing a pretty good job of that, especially led by Von Miller. I think for the Bills to be able to combat a multi-tiered passing attack now with Hawkinson and Jefferson and Adam Thielen and others, KJ Osborne, a guy who played here at the University of Buffalo, the Bills are going to need to be able to pressure Cousins with the front four and be able to then drop everyone else in coverage. And I think that that's going to be something that's very vital. I'll tell you what, though, the sirens have been going off more so on the Bills' defensive front here in town regarding their running defense, because it's been something that Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon really exposed in that Sunday night game, even though the Packers lost. And even without Breece Hall a week ago, James Robinson and others in that mix were able to, Michael Carter, were good for the Jets, especially in the game-winning drive, to just steamroll down and run through the Bills' run defense. So I think as much as Jefferson's dynamic and Hawkinson, I think Dalvin Cook is the one Bills fans in particular are going to maybe be more concerned about dealing with in terms of the Bills' defense trying to slow something down out of Minnesota.
Makes a lot of sense. Where do you rank? What's the hierarchy of the AFC East right now, in your opinion?
I still think the Bills have to be in the conversation as the best team in the AFC and maybe the best team in football. I know Philadelphia is undefeated. They've earned the right, I think, to take claim across the league as the best team. Kansas City is a team I always felt before the season began people were mistaken in terms of pushing them back. I still think Kansas City is absolutely a threat. I would put the Bills and the Chiefs in a different tier than everybody else. That's the way the standings are, and I think even with a Josh Allen injury, certainly if you have to play playoff run with Case Keenum as opposed to Allen, it's a different story. But I think with Allen as the quarterback, even though things haven't been great and you just lost to the Jets, I put the Bills and Chiefs at the top, and then that kind of clumping of Baltimore, Tennessee, and those teams, the next group below.
Any worry that the Bills are 0-2 in the division from fans out there?
Maybe fans. The team certainly not. And I'll tell you what, I don't think it's a big deal. The Miami game was one of the strangest things that I've ever seen. The Heat, I know Miami fans will say, well, we deal with it all the time. I promise you, it was a different beast that afternoon. The Bills were already down certain players like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer and others. And then after the game, the Heat was pulling people out of the game with dehydration left and right. I promise you, I've never seen in my life a locker room look like that with guys like Stephon Diggs and Isaiah McKenzie and Gabe Davis and others literally on the ground, almost unable to move. They were so spent, exhausted, and that is what the Heat did. So Miami won the game. They executed better, but it was just a very different set of circumstances than usual. And last week, the Bills just didn't play well, and I think the Jets are a better team than some people give credit to. So long and short is the division is more talented than it has been recently overall, but I still think there is a clear line that the Bills are better than the other three teams.
John, I really appreciate it. It was fun talking to you during the draft when we thought Christian Watson could be a Bill. Clearly it didn't work out that way, but happy we were able to reconnect on this one and looking forward to the game on Sunday.
Absolutely, anytime.
There we go, John Scott, Spectrum News 1 out there in Buffalo. Sounds like Josh Allen, minute to minute by Sunday. I think maybe second by second. Maybe it's minute to minute tomorrow and second by second when we get to the game on Sunday. But I think he won't play, personally.
I still think he's going to play.
Okay, you're holding to it.
I think they're like, this Minnesota Vikings team, if we beat them, everyone's going to think that now the Bills are really the best team if they beat the Vikings.
Imagine if they beat the Vikings without Josh Allen.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Is anybody really going to be that surprised? I mean, if Josh Allen plays and they beat the Vikings, that doesn't do much for the Bills. You're supposed to. And no one thinks the Vikings are that good anyways.
No, here's the four scenarios.
Least respected 7-1 team ever.
Here's the four scenarios. Josh Allen plays and beats the Vikings, and it's like, oh, wow, you guys couldn't even beat an injured Josh Allen. Vikings beat the Bills with Josh Allen. Oh, well, Josh Allen was hurt. Doesn't count.
Yep.
You beat
Jordan Poyer.
Beat the Bills with Case Keenum starting. It's Case Keenum and the Bills. You didn't even have to face Josh Allen. But if you lose to Case Keenum, it's like either
you can't
way,
even beat Case Keenum.
It's lose, 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 lose for Minnesota in this scenario.
It's the classic lose, 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 lose scenario.
From media, it's just the storylines that like, oh, Minnesota, they still aren't that good. They can't compete with these best teams.
The only way they get to win is if they just win because they're 8-1 and no one cares about what the media says.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. Get another win. Get to 8-1. Put some pressure on the Eagles. Try and get that number 1 seed. 16-1 still in play. Would absolutely love it. It'd be great to go to Buffalo and get a win because that's when the schedule comes out and you're doing the whole which games are wins and losses, the stupid thing we all do as fans. That was a loss. Everyone circled it as a loss. Like, okay, we'll lose that one. That's fine. It's one loss. Not a big deal. Go to Buffalo and lose the game. You can win that one. Man, that's a win you didn't think you'd get, right? And if you're trying to, again, circle wins and losses, you're like, okay, if we get a loss we didn't expect, can we get a win we don't expect? Probably not at Buffalo, but if you do, I don't care if Josh Allen's there or not. All that matters is the record at the end of the day and a chance to get to 8-1 for the Minnesota Vikings. And it's primetime Kirk, baby. Noon kickoff. That's what we're talking about. East Coast. It's really even like 11 o'clock his time. His body clock is going to be at 11, so it's even better for Kirk.
Even earlier.
Yep.
That way his mind isn't overthinking. Nope. He's free. We get to see maybe little Kirko coming back on the airplane.
Plane. Yep.
I don't know what they're going to do this time.
Grill. Justin Jefferson, give him a grill.
Oh, gosh.
Give Kirk a grill. I want the chains, shirt off, blue light glasses on there, and then a grill from Justin Jefferson.
Did you think that Kirk was that in shape? He
had some six-pack there, baby.
He had a six-pack. He had some lean muscle on him.
Sure did. No dad bod Kirk there, baby.
I would have thought dad bod.
Nope. He's good. He's in shape, baby. He's got it going. Kirk Cousins knows what he's doing to take care of that body. We got to talk about TB12. Where's the Kirko plan, The
Kirko plan.
Kirko, to take care of your body. He knows what he's doing. There's something to it. Has Kirk missed games? No. He's been active. He hasn't missed games. That's one thing. He's been available. Best ability is availability, and Kirk has been available. This hour of the Insiders on a Friday brought to you by Rick Electric. When you need electrical work, you need Rick Electric. For over 56 years, Rick Electric has been providing excellent electrical services for homes and businesses. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. And we're here with you inside the Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol and Summit Carbon Solutions have partnered to make a positive environmental impact on the environment by cutting the carbon footprint in half. And Theraldson Ethanol produces 400 tons of livestock feed per year, along with 175 million gallons of ethanol per year. You can fuel your future and join their growing team by going online at theraldsonethanol.com. Let's take a break, come back, and wrap up hour number 1. At noon today, Jeff Kolpack will join us from the Forum.
Where the Bison roam. Bison 1660.
Our Road to the Ring is brought to you by Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry. NDSU football remained in the win column this past Saturday after running over Western Illinois 56-17. 10 different backs combined for 453 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. Kobe Johnson rushed for a 47-yard touchdown on the first play from scrimmage for the Bison. Tamarick Williams led the team with 120 yards on 12 carries and 2 touchdowns. TK Marshall logged 118 yards on just 6 carries and also had 2 touchdowns. Code Green had 4 interceptions in the game, including a pick 6 by Marquise Siegel. The Bison improved to 7-2 overall and 5-1 in Missouri Valley Football Conference play. The Road to the Ring is brought to you by Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry. They have a long history and reputation for quality workmanship and rock-solid pricing. Whether diamond engagement rings, custom jewelry, or repairs, let Brenda and the team at Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry create a legacy for you and your family. The Bison remain on the road to face the Southern Illinois Salukis this Saturday, with kickoff scheduled for 1 p.m.
Well, here we are. The cold weather is here, and that means it's time for winter projects with Rick Electric. Hey, it's Chris Hansen. We've had Rick Electric in our home almost a dozen times. And take it from me, it's easy to see why they are the Upper Midwest electrical professionals. Rick Electric's been proudly serving the area since 1964. And if you want to make sure the power stays on this winter, they can install a Generac whole house generator with an automatic transfer switch. Schedule your appointment or get troubleshooting help at rickelectric.com.
When you're making decisions about your ag operation finances, you need access to the experts. This is Scott Solandic with Cornerstone Bank. Whether you're just starting your operation or looking to grow, we're here to talk you through those financial decisions. We're the kind of people who get to know you and genuinely appreciate your needs. If you're looking for a bank that's been specializing in ag banking for generations, come see us at Cornerstone Bank.
Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Bison Hotline postgame show is broadcasting live this year from Applebee's on 19th Avenue North in Fargo. Come see the Bison 1660 crew live after every NDSU football game and register to win prizes including Bison 1660 t-shirts, tickets to upcoming games, and a whole lot more. Plus, take advantage of the great food and drink specials at Applebee's. Bison Hotline broadcasting live after every NDSU football game from Applebee's on 19th Avenue North in Fargo, right across from the Fargo Dome. Horns up.
Code Green is coming alive!
Bison football remains on the road this weekend to play the Southern Illinois Salukis. Our coverage starts at 7 a.m. with kickoff scheduled for 1 p.m. on Saturday. Coverage of NDSU versus Southern Illinois is brought to you by Hoffman Trucking. Are you tough enough to drive yellow? Hoffman Trucking is a premier dry bulk carrier in the Midwest region. It's tough to drive down the road and miss our signature yellow trucks. We currently have some job openings. Check us out online at hoffmantrucking.com.
There is pride in every American heart, and it is time we stand and say that the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And we're proud to be Americans, where at least we know we're free. And we won't forget the men who died who gave that right to be free. And we will gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, because there ain't no doubt we love this land. God bless the USA.
This is Menly from Healing with Hyperbarics, and I want to talk to you today about how hyperbaric oxygen can help you if you've had radiation in the past. Radiation saves lives by killing cancer cells, but the damaging effects of radiation to the tissues continues. This leads to poor blood flow in these tissues, causing a range of problems, depending on which tissues are radiated. If you've had radiation in the past and struggle with any post-radiation injuries, book an appointment with us at Healing with Hyperbarics to see how hyperbaric oxygen can help you heal.
You're listening to your home for NDSU athletics.
To the 10, cut to 5, shot in there, baby!
Bison 1660.
Hour 1 of The Insiders brought to you by Rick Electric. When you need electrical work, call the pros at Rick Electric, because the electrical work is kind of difficult and expensive to fix and dangerous. So trust the pros. Rick Electric's got you covered. They've got over 56 years of experience. Rick Electric has been providing excellent electrical services for homes and businesses. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. Couple of text on the text line. You can text into the program 701-476-1660. First off from, I guess he just can't get enough of us, Rob Hipp texting into the text line today. Says a couple of things for us. First off, 6.5-hour drive from Lawrence to Carbondale, so he gave us the verification on the distance of the drive. Not awful. Could be worse. Says, on the road, miss you guys from Rob. Miss you, Rob. Have fun on the road there, and good luck on the call tomorrow, NDSU in Southern Illinois. Also said that Arkansas said we were a very scrappy team. From Rob Hipp. So, has that information from NDSU versus Arkansas, and said that some of the Kansas athletic staff said that we were better than Omaha, and obviously didn't play our best game. So, take that for what it's worth here early on in the season for Bison men's basketball. To be honest with you, I know this isn't how Rob intended it, scrappy always seemed like a backhanded compliment, right?
It totally is.
Yeah.
It
I'm
kind of
just saying.
I'm just going to say this. When I was playing in youth
You were
sports-
scrappy.
When I was playing in youth sports, if someone said if I was scrappy or, wow, you really work hard at that, I'm like, that is not a compliment, guys.
You really work hard.
You are a hard worker. Oh, my gosh.
You work hard for everything you get. Nothing comes naturally to you. Yep. You work extremely hard.
That is
you fight and claw.
It is just a backhanded compliment.
It seems like it.
It's the
you never want to be the scrappy team.
Gosh, it's like the grandma backhanded compliment to like the new newlywed that like is like joining the family. Like she does like you, but then she does like the backhanded compliment to you. It's just like, okay.
So I think you had some experience with that there.
No, not me.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, scrappy doesn't seem like what you want to be called early on in the season. No offense. But and the NDSU men's basketball is fine. I'm sure they didn't mean offense. And that's not how Rob means it either. But you fight, you keep going, you're a hard-working team, all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, you just want to be a winning team, right? And I'm sure that's what they want. They don't want any of the moral victories. Dave Richmond's never been a fan of any of those. Said so last night on the post-game show, the Rick Electric post-game show, by the way, for all basketball games this year. But you're not going to take moral victories away. And they're going to get better. Again, you're not facing Kansas and Arkansas the rest of this way. But those are games you want them to go better than they did. You want to find out something about your team. I'm sure they did find out something about the team a little bit. And now you come home for a game against Pacific for the home opener Sunday afternoon inside the Shack. And then Todd Enkenbauer giving us some info on the newly crowned Class B 11-man football champions, the Aggies of Velva, Drake, Animus, Garrison. Says Velva is the main team. I didn't know that. Football Factory. Velva's been great for a long time. Last year, Garrison co-opted. It was an emergency co-op with Velva because they didn't have enough kids to play. And then this is the first year that Drake Animus was also a team, 6-man football. And again, classifications have changed a little bit. Now you got the 9-man football, the lowest division. So Drake Animus then co-opt with Velva Garrison. So you become Velva, Drake, Animus, Garrison. And there are a couple of younger Volsons on that team, because obviously Cordell, Tanner Volson as well, from Balfour, North Dakota, played at Drake. 6-man football, 9-man football, whenever it was. But now they have got a couple of, I don't believe the brothers, but a couple other young Volsons on that team for the Aggies. They're now state champions.
Imagine 6-man football, the open space.
Yep.
Just athleticism all over the field.
Well, that's
Be
why
fun to watch.
You got small town football. It's always a funny story to me. I don't believe he played 6-man, but Cody Malk was, I believe, 9-man and was a receiver. Imagine Cody Malk as a receiver. He was a high school receiver.
Let's get him out wide, man.
I know. You talk to Tyler Roll, he says, Cody Monk maybe has some of the best hands on the team. You gotta tackle eligible, right? You gotta throw something to him at some
Versatile.
point.
Came in as a tight end.
Yeah.
He's got the feet, got the hands.
Imagine him in the open field with a full head of steam trying to bring him down.
I bet there's a play. There's a play where Cody Monk is an eligible receiver and they throw it back to him. I know it's in the playbook somewhere.
Absolutely.
It's there.
100%. It's got to be in there at some point.
T-Roll's just waiting on it.
Waiting for the right time. And again, he's kind of pared down the playbook a little bit, simplified things, right? Make sure we're doing the things we do well extremely well, and that's what they're going to try and do. But that's definitely in the playbook there at some point. All of our coverage, again, of NDSU Southern Illinois brought to you by Hoffman Trucking. The first hour of the show brought to you by the great folks at Rick Electric, and today's show brought to you in part by The Spirit Shop, who also brings you our conversations with Easton Stick. They got you ready and stocked up for all your favorites for watching football, including if you're watching the Dakota Bowl today somewhere in Fargo. The Spirit Shop has you covered with a huge selection of wine, beer, and spirits at the best prices, plus great weekly specials at the Spirit Shop off 13th Avenue here in Fargo behind Shields Home and Hardware. We'll take a break. We'll come back, talk some football and Bison basketball. Jeff Kolpack of The Forum joins us in hour number 2 of The Insiders on a Friday.
Every fan loves an explosive play on the field when someone breaks free and takes it to the house. Take that feeling anywhere with the explosive taste of Bud Light Seltzer, the official hard seltzer of the NDSU Bison. Bud Light Seltzer is always the right call for game day. The bold flavor of the hard soda variety pack and the all-new seasonal apple slices flavors will definitely score points with your team in the tailgate zone or inside the Fargo Dome. Bud Light Seltzer, the official hard seltzer of the NDSU Bison. Please drink responsibly, never drink and drive.
Slam it home, big fella!
After 2 big road games against Arkansas and Kansas, Bison men's basketball is back at the Shield Center Sunday, November 13th at 1 p.m. for a non-conference matchup against University of the Pacific of the West Coast Conference. The game is presented by Pepsi and doors open at noon. Get there early for the full game day experience. Beer and wine in the Buffalo Wild Wings Lounge, food vendors, concessions, and the kids zone.
Hey, Brad, I feel like we've all been there around the holiday season where money is really tight and having some extra cash would really come in handy. I heard that Corwin Auto is helping stuff stockings this season. Is that right?
Yes. If you need some extra holiday cash fast, Corwin Auto will put a little extra jingle in your pocket this holiday season.
That sounds really nice. How can someone get some extra jingle in their pocket?
Corwin Auto wants to buy your used vehicle and will offer more money than ever to buy it.
So that truck that's just been collecting dust in the garage, you'll buy it?
Yes. Bring your vehicle into any Corwin location and have it appraised. Get an instant cash offer and walk about with more jingle. I mean cash on the spot.
It really sounds like there's never been a better time to sell a vehicle and get top dollar.
You are spot on. Let Corwin Auto help stuff your stockings this season. Stop by any of the 4 Corwin Auto locations today.
You heard Brant. If you need holiday cash fast, Corwin Auto will put a little extra jingle in your pocket this holiday season.
Take a chance and call your shot. Every Friday, we give you a chance to win a free night stay at Homewood Suites in Fargo. Go to our Bison 1660 Facebook page each Friday and look for the Call Your Shot graphic. Whoever comments on that post prior to kickoff with the closest prediction of the final score wins a free night stay at Homewood Suites in Fargo with free Wi-Fi, an indoor pool, and connecting rooms. Homewood Suites is your hotel for Fargo family fun within walking distance of the Fargo Dome. Take a chance and call your shot.
Truck headquarters. Gateway Chevrolet has new Chevy trucks arriving daily. Buy your new Chevy Silverado at Invoice. Yes, Invoice pricing on new Silverados with a fresh look, new interiors, and larger screens with easy-to-use technology. Save thousands on new Chevy Silverados with 4 different motors available. Dynamic fuel management, Bluetooth, backup camera, Apple CarPlay, and more. Save thousands and enjoy the smooth ride in your new Chevy Silverado from Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
We are Buck. And here's what you need to know.
Week 10 in the NFL getting underway last night with the Carolina Panthers 25-15 win over the Falcons. Dante Foreman, a huge night on the ground, 130 yards rushing and a touchdown. Marcus Mariota threw for 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick in the loss for Atlanta. They're now 4-6 and a half game out of first place in the NFC South. After the game, Falcons head coach Arthur Smith would not commit to naming a starting quarterback for next week. Bills head coach Sean McDermott not ruling out quarterback Josh Allen on Sunday in their game against Minnesota. He has missed the last 2 days of practice with an injury in his throwing elbow. One player they are ruling out, safety Jordan Poyer. He will not play on Sunday against the Vikings. This will be the second straight game he has missed since injuring his elbow against the Packers a month ago. Seahawks are expecting linebacker Darryl Taylor to play on Sunday versus the Bucs. He was a full participant in practice today after missing last week's game with a groin injury. I'm Kevin Wyatt.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. That's right. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders. The Insiders.
The Insiders.
Insiders.
Rob Hipp and Andy Rickoff.
Hour number 2 on a Football Friday, free of Rob Hipp on the Insiders. Love you, Rob. Shout out Rob Hipp. He's had a day. He's had a week. A lot of travel. Fly to Arkansas, bus to Lawrence. Now you get to travel with the team. It's always good. You know, fun stuff. You get to travel with the team. And what a lot of people wish they could do, and Rob's getting to do it. But now in a car driving over to Carbondale for NDSU football tomorrow against Southern Illinois. Our kickoff coverage leading up to kickoff starts at 7 a.m. with the Bison Report Show and Ross Uglum. And then we've got, obviously, Bison Game Day. Myself and James Hendricks will start at 10 to noon. And network coverage starts at noon with kickoff shortly after 1 o'clock from Saluki Stadium in Carbondale.
What about the Brad Jones and the tailgate
Brad Jones,
show?
Bison Tailgate Show would be from 9 to 10 as well. I don't know. I haven't kept track on the Glorious Picks, how they are doing. I don't know if it's a curse or not right now.
I don't know how the Glorious Picks are going, but he said the Bison Tailgate Show rub is not doing well because whenever he has guests on, that team loses the next week.
Okay. You do not want to be on the Bison Tailgate Show then if you are a play-by-play man. But he makes you your smartest fan at the tailgate spot because he covers all of the country in the FCS. And there are some really good games, especially in the CAA this week. Delaware-Richmond, really strong game there. New Hampshire's facing off against somebody else that's really good as well. I can't think of the team right off the top of my head. It was on our Bison 1660 pick'em, so I'm sure I'll think of it here in just a little bit. But there's some good games in the CAA this week and also in the Valley. But right now, I want to let you know that our post-game show all season long is happening at Applebee's just off of 19th Avenue North in Fargo. It's the home of Bison Hotline this year. Myself, Chris Hansen, and James Hendricks will be there at Applebee's after the Bison's game against Southern Illinois. So stop on out there. Your chance to win tickets to NDSU UND. You can take home some yard signs if you can still put them into the yard and it's not frozen. And you can also walk away with some koozies, footballs, and T-shirts as well there at Applebee's just north of the Fargo Dome for Bison Hotline. Again, post-game of NDSU and Southern Illinois. And right now, let's go back to the Epic Companies Hotline and bring on Jeff Kolpack of the Forum, a man that knows a thing or two about Bison football, to say the very least. Nice enough to join us on this Football Friday. Jeff, how are you doing? Is there any Dakota Bowl coverage in your future today?
Well, no, I'm off today, actually.
Okay.
So it's all about college football. You guys have so much going on, you can't even remember it all.
Yeah, well, I couldn't remember if I had nothing going on. That's my problem. But,
right.
There's quite a bit going on. Are you going to be cheering for the Shanley Deacons tonight, though? I know you're not covering it, but Kyle Emanuel, assistant coach of the Deacons, so...
Yeah, assistant coach of the year, absolutely. I'm going for him, and my kids went to North High, so I got to put the North High hat on today. I think I put it on Facebook that my wife and I brought the gear out of retirement.
There you go. I love it.
Dipped down into the bin and picked out our old Spartan gear. What do we have, like 12 years worth of stuff, probably. I mean, so it's just it's good for North High to get in a state title football game. I know. Some people say, well, it's down a class, but enrollment has shrunk to the point where, it's hard to compete with some of those schools. And it's been, 22 years. I was at the last state title game that they were in 2000. I think, was that Sean Hoffman maybe, or Gerke was a quarterback? I can't remember. I think one of the The Dahlin kids was a linebacker. I mean, it's been a long time. So, good for the north side to have some success in a sport. It's been, they haven't had success. It's been forever.
I agree with you. And I know Jamestown was in a title game just a year ago as well, but I like the reclassification. I know some people are kind of up and down about it. There's probably got to be some things still kind of tweaked about it. But overall, I think it's been a good reclassification for North Dakota high school football.
Yeah, and my son graduated 4 years ago, and his class was like 172, his senior class. I think if you're looking at Davies and Cheyenne, what are they, 400 around there?
Micah?
It's just there's just not a lot of kids. And I think it's getting better now, from what I understand. But nobody leaves the north side. Like my block, there's hardly you don't see any young kids around because nobody leaves. I mean, you stay there until they kick you out into a retirement home or something. So and that's one of the issues. And the other issue is there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to expand. I mean, it's landlocked. You got the airport, river. You can't really go farther north after, north of County Road, 20. So, it's just, the enrollment is what it is, and it's just hasn't been what it was.
Yeah, we roll with about 300 plus for each class there as a Davies alum.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
that makes a difference. It makes a big difference in these numbers sports: football, hockey, soccer. Those sports where you need a bunch of kids, and that's where you see the issue. Once in a while, you can be good at basketball or even hockey. Maybe you can get some kids going if you get a couple classes back to back. But generally, the bigger schools have a huge advantage, and it's a numbers game.
Now, don't bring this up to Kyle Emanuel because he'll tell you Shanley's enrollment is also pretty small. But obviously, private school, it's a little bit different. I think we all know that as well with Shanley. Yeah. So, by the way, I didn't know we were voting on Assistant Coach of the Year this year, but I guess we are, right?
Yeah, Sid Sitchy found a way to win with Moorhead kids way back in the day.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it with that.
Just leave it there. Fair enough. By the way, Cavalier and New Salem Almont in the 9-man game right now, 0-0, 8 minutes to go in quarter number 1. And congratulations to Velvet Drake Animus Garrison on the Class B 11-man championship earlier today against Central Cass. But let's talk some Bison football with you. I've been saying all week long, this is a scary game because you've got a team coming off a bye in Southern Illinois, an extra week to prepare for NDSU and to throw everything at the Bison. Plus, their backs are against the wall. They have to win 2 games here and win out to get into the playoffs. What are you expecting from the Salukis in this one out in Carbondale?
Yeah, Dom and I were talking about that, and he goes, they're going to throw everything, the old kitchen sink game, but I'm not sure. The weather's going to be low 40s, a little cool. The wind's going to be 10 to 20, not the best conditions. I don't know if you can do a kitchen sink game in late November. Maybe you can. I mean, I suppose there's some wrinkles you can throw at NDSU, but I think it's going to come down to the basics. And it's NDSU's running game has been pretty tough lately. You got Tamarick Williams is healthy. Hunter Lipke, Hunter Lipke's had 3 carries each the last 2 games. I'm saying 15 to 18 carries tomorrow. I mean, his days being parked are over. I think anybody's days from here on out of being parked or saving the pitch count, if you will, are done. So I see a lot of that happening. It's a matter of, I know SIU's 9th in the country in run defense. The last couple of games, they've shown some vulnerability there. I just don't know if they can stop NDSU's running game. If they can, then it's a very scary game for NDSU.
I would agree with you, and I do think Hunter Lipke's getting more healthy, and you can rely on him a little bit more possibly this week against Southern Illinois. What do you think about the passing game for NDSU? Obviously, last week, the weather was a huge factor into that. You just couldn't really throw the ball, and when you were getting 9 yards a carry, you're just going to continue to run the ball like they did. Probably going to have to have more completions than interceptions this week. They had 4 interceptions on defense, only 3 completions last week, which is a weird stat to last week's game. But where do you see the passing game in this game, especially with a pretty good run defense for the Salukis?
Yeah, last game, I almost got blown over in the pregame show. It literally was, I swear there was a gust 40 to 50 at one point when we were on the air. But you got to throw that out the window. NDSU's passing game is good enough. Let's just put it that way. It's good enough for its offense. It's not Trey Lance dynamic, nor I don't think anybody expects it to be. They don't have Christian Watson, but the receivers have been better, I think, in the last month or so, catching some balls, breaking some tackles. I think it's good enough for what they need for the rest of the season. The biggest issue, I think, with this team all year has been the run defense. And, it's been good, but not great. They've had great run defenses in their title years. This seems to be getting a little better, but, you're relying on some young guys. Eli Mostard's injury hurt a lot. They tried to get Tucker to come back use his COVID year, but he decided not to. That would have been a big help. And Javier Darrett had a better game last week. I thought he needs to come on a little better. And then you got some redshirt freshmen. It's hard to win with redshirt freshmen in there. So to me, that's going to be the big deal tomorrow is, can they stop the Salukis? Can they stop Javon Williams Jr.?
I agree with you. I think it's been better the last couple of weeks. I attribute that to two things. One, I think the bye week. They fix some things in the bye week. They always do. They self-scout. They figure some things out. You work on some stuff. You get better. Every team does. But also Cole Wisniewski coming back. And that guy is a heck of a tackler, and he clearly helps them out, whether he's playing Will. I think they'll put him at some Mike stuff every once in a while in certain packages. He clearly is going to help them in the run game.
Yeah, and he's got that body type that they didn't have, 6'4", almost 230 pounds or 232 or something like that. They just didn't have that body. That's like a Nick DeLuca-looking guy. DeLuca, what was he, 6'3", 240? And they just didn't have that, I think, physical presence. I know Jackson Hankey wasn't the biggest guy in the world, but he was the smartest guy in the world, and he was good at what he did. He filled gaps. He just was around the line of scrimmage all the time, and I think they've been missing that. They're getting better, like you said. I think the young linebackers are you learn every game, you learn the game speed. But that part of their game, if they're going to go to Frisco, let's just call it like it is, that needs to be really good. And it's getting better, but Andy, my label of this team all year, it's good but not great. They've had great teams. And this one's not great yet. Maybe they can be, but good's pretty good. They're still fourth in the country. That's good.
Yep.
They're just not great.
Yeah, and doesn't mean you can't win a national championship, right? You got to be playing your best football at the end of November, leading into the playoffs. That's when you got to be playing your best, and they are playing better. I think their two most complete games have been these last couple of weeks, which is good to see. I've always said this about the team, and let me know if you kind of agree. I think even the best teams in NDSU's history, think about the 2019 championship team and others, they've had inconsistencies. Think of 2019, they scored, 9 points in a playoff game against Illinois State. They've had some inconsistencies on offense or on defense, but the level of variation has been smaller. The gap has been smaller. This year's team, you've seen how good they can play. That first half against SDSU, that's about as well as you can play football-wise. They were phenomenal. But then you see some halves or some quarters where it's, okay, you have 3 turnovers in a quarter, and it's the variation has been a little bit wider than other years past. There's inconsistencies on all the teams, but the highs and lows seem a little bit higher and lower with this team. So that means your room for error is also a little bit tighter as well.
Well, especially on defense. And that's where you win titles. You always talk about the quarterbacks, Lance, Easton Stick, Carson Wentz, the running backs, the old linemen that have been drafted, but you win with defense, and that's why I think South Dakota State's the favorite this year. I think they have the best defense, and especially their D linemen are just playing better, I think, than anybody else. I don't know if their linebacker Bach is back yet, but apparently he's not, and that hurts. But you talk about getting to Frisco, it starts on the defensive side, and this team, are they good enough to get there? Yeah, they are, but I don't know if you can rely on holding a team to 10 points all the time like they have throughout all these years in the playoffs. They had a down game against Illinois State, 9. They scored 9, but they gave up 3. And that's how you do it. You do it with defense. So we'll see. They got to continue to get better, and I think tomorrow's a big benchmark, just like the Illinois State game was a couple, 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. I thought that might have been a jumping off point. If they're going to get better, we'll see how they do against Illinois State. They did. I thought they continued that momentum against Western last week, and it's got to continue tomorrow.
I agree with that. I thought Illinois State was kind of a sneaky game. They were able to win that one and win it convincingly. These last two games aren't easy. We've already went over Southern Illinois, and they're going to throw everything they can at NDSU in this one because they have to win these last two games to get in. And then UND's been putting up a lot of points on offense. So that's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, I would think, next week either. And UND, if we stopped right now, is definitely a playoff team. One other team that I think would be in the playoffs if you stopped right now is Youngstown State. And I did not think I'd say that at the start of the season. Do you think the Penguins make the playoffs?
Boy, I think it's 50-50. They can go 8-3, but they have Southern Illinois left, but they got them at home. And they're at Missouri State, which I think's probably cashed in the season. We'll see. Maybe Mo State has one more in the tank. They can, the problem, you talk about Mo State, great talent, but be careful what you ask for in the transfer portal. The word is you got too many guys that think they should start. You're not really, buying into the team. And here's a preseason favorite. Some people were talking Frisco. Yeah, what are they? 3-7? Is that or 3-6?
It's fallen off in a hurry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Bobby Petrino went from preseason coach of the year to nothing right now.
We were talking about him going back to the FBS at the start of the season, right?
But you got, again, people are like, oh, how come NDSU didn't go to the transfer portal for D linemen? Well, you got to be careful about that because you just can't bring in, there's the old adage, there's reason guys transfer, and it's usually because they're not good enough, or there's some issue, or you just don't transfer if you're happy and playing well. Very often, sometimes you go for your 50 or somewhere else, but I just don't see,
especially from a Power 5 to, and NDSU is a great program, but Power 5 to FCS is usually a reason.
Yeah, and so I think the Bison, and rightly so, have been very selective in how they handle the transfer portal. Tamarick Williams was a prime example. They found the right guy there. They didn't bring in 6 running backs. They found the one guy they wanted. They haven't brought in, what did they bring in, 2-3, Carson Williams, tight end. He's a redshirt freshman. They recruited him out of high school. So guys like that, you just don't go, on your computer and go, hey, I need to find this guy and this guy. Let's take him. Let's take him. It doesn't work that way. Not in the old culture, standpoint of things.
And Braden Thomas and Michael Beto, right? They even went to the D2 ranks to get some guys not too long ago in the transfer portal.
Perfect example.
Also talking here with Jeff Kolpack. Wanted to switch topics and go on a little bit of basketball with you, too, in the last couple minutes we got you. And thanks for the time. But obviously, NDSU men's basketball, 2 season opening losses. Can't really take a lot away from Arkansas and Kansas. But what do you take away from the 2 games here for Dave Richmond and company?
I thought they competed pretty well, and I think that's one thing you look for, where they're deer in the headlights, and I really didn't see that. They were just more or less out-athleted, which you would expect, teams like that. That freshman class, when I was watching them against Crookston, and again, I know it's a D2 team, but they grew on me, and that team grew on me as that game wore on. So, there's something there that Dave can work with. It'd be a nice year to hit a good freshman class, put it that way. I think the potential's there when he calls Waddles one of the best offensive players he's ever coached or seen. I'm going, wow, are you serious? That's pretty heady words for a true freshman. But we'll see around Christmas when things get cranked up. I think he needs this month in December to formulate, I guess, what he wants to see in his team and hope guys grow. Don't rule them out. I mean, South Dakota State lost a lot of guys. Don't rule this team out. Certainly, just because Sammy Griesel's in Lincoln, and all these Edie's gone, and Rocky Cruiser's gone, and Malik. You never know. I mean, I think I like the way Andrew Morgan looks. I think looks vastly different than he did last year. He looks more like a Division I basketball player. Obviously, he's changed his body a little bit, looks stronger, a little more athletic. And we'll see. I think they need the point guard, the true freshman point guard, to come around and be healthy. We'll see how he does.
I think Damari Wheeler-Thomas comes around and gets playing a little bit better. That will make life a little bit easier. And if Bowden Scumberg can score 17 points like he did against Arkansas, get that perimeter scoring as well. I know we haven't gotten a chance to see NDSU women's basketball in person for a game yet because their game was canceled yesterday against Mayville State. Against Valley City State on Monday, what are you looking forward to seeing from Jory Collins and this women's basketball team?
Again, probably the same thing. You got a bunch of new players, and I just want to see how they work together. Do they have some shooters? Do they have, the problem with matching up against the South Dakota States of the world is a physical thing. Like South Dakota last year, they just were superior physically. And so you got to get bigger, longer, stronger, and it sounds easy, right? But we'll see how some of these players have developed from last year, and looking forward to seeing some of these new players and how they fit in.
Definitely gotten longer, I can tell you that. There's a lot of length in this team. I'm looking forward to seeing them in person.
6'3" freshman guard, right? That's
6'3" freshman guard, yes. Tallest player on the team, but a guard. It still blows my mind every once in a while. And she made the game-winning basket against Montana. Yeah. She had the and one and then hit a free throw late as well.
She had the courage to take the shot. That's something you look for, too.
Yeah.
You have a true freshman coming in there on the road at Montana and had the wherewithal, to shoot it. That says something to me right there.
Absolutely. So it's going to be fun to see them in person. I hope Bison fans get out there. And then the game on the 17th next week against Minnesota also. That's kind of cool to see the Golden Gophers come up here for a game.
Yeah, you see that in women's basketball every so often, Andy. Women's teams at that level are more willing to travel, to promote the game. What was it, South Carolina that went to Sioux Falls to play South Dakota State?
Number one team in the country.
And that was to promote the game, and good for South Carolina and good for Lindsay at Minnesota to do the same thing, to promote the game. And I'm sure you're going to see a lot of high school girls from, 8th graders, whoever, from around the area. You should bring your daughter to that game and say, okay, this is maybe what you could aspire to. And so, good for the Gophers to do that.
Yeah, agree with you 100%.
Now it's only Gopher football, only if they play the Bison.
Good luck on that one. Good luck getting that to happen. I can guarantee you on that one. I know what that conversation would probably sound like. Well, Jeff, always appreciate it. Great to have you back on the program once again. I wanted to have Kyle on the program so I could have you say something about Kyle, but he's busy getting ready for a state championship game, so I guess we'll cheer for Shanley instead.
Right, Andy, if I need to borrow Kyle, I'll give you a ring, all right?
Okay, appreciate it. I love that, too. Jeff Kolpack there with the Forum, nice enough to give us some time here on the Epic Companies Hotline. We will take a break. We'll come back. Plenty more of hour number 2 of the Insiders. As we go to break here, though, it's a free ticket Friday, too. How about another family 4-pack of tickets to NDSU basketball, 2 to NDSU men's basketball against Pacific, and 2 to NDSU women's basketball against Valley City. Be caller 2 for these 2 pairs of tickets. Caller 2 to 701-476-1660, and you win a pair of tickets to NDSU men's basketball on Sunday and NDSU women's basketball on Monday. More of the Insiders on a Friday next.
You're listening to the Insiders on your home for NDSU sports. Bison 1660.
I am the American flag. I have earned the right to be heard. I will speak from the wisdom of life. Look at my face. I have traveled far. I have paid the price for my freedom of speech. I have wrapped my arms around those who have died for me. I am proud of my country. Preserve my dignity. You have the freedom to choose. Old Glory, they called me. I am the American flag. Under God with liberty and justice for all.
Code Green is coming alive!
Bison football remains on the road this weekend to play the Southern Illinois Salukis. Our coverage starts at 7 a.m. with kickoff scheduled for 1 p.m. on Saturday. Coverage of NDSU versus Southern Illinois is brought to you by Hoffman Trucking. Are you tough enough to drive yellow? Hoffman Trucking is a premier dry bulk carrier in the Midwest region. It's tough to drive down the road and miss our signature yellow trucks. We currently have some job openings. Check us out online at hoffmantrucking.com.
Dakota Refrigeration has been helping the Bison succeed behind the scenes. From their training room to their dining room, from milk to medicine, from ice to ice cream, Dakota Refrigeration has been serving Minnesota, Montana, and the Dakotas for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, Dakota Refrigeration is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical needs. Dakota Refrigeration, located in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot.
With the rising threat of cybersecurity attacks, You need to ensure your business is fully protected. Data loss, ransomware attacks, and other breaches can disrupt your business and damage your reputation. Consolidated Communications Cloud Secure Service safeguards your business from these attacks by securing your network, data, and applications. We proactively monitor your security to prevent intrusions before they compromise your IT systems while protecting your staff in the office or when working remotely. Visit consolidatedcommunications.com/cloudsecure to protect your business.
When it's time to make your next move, turn to Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty to put the full court press on your home search. Whether you're looking for a quiet home in the suburbs or something downtown, let Todd Kettermas run the point for you in the search for your dream home. Call Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty today or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty, moving the herd one home at a time.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
Mostly cloudy early, then gradual clearing for your Friday. Expect highs in the lower 40s with winds around 7 miles per hour. And overnight, clear and cold with a low around 21. This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a cold snap rolls in. Ditch the coat and snuggle up with peace of mind, knowing that Minn Kota's energy-efficient vinyl will block out the brutal cold and save you money. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life.
Hey, Bison Nation, this is NDSU quarterback Cam Miller.
This one is a keeper by Miller, left side touchdown.
And you're listening to The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Insiders on a Friday, this hour, the noon hour every Friday, brought to you by the great team at Wimmer's Diamonds, a local family-owned jeweler serving and believing in this community for over 100 years. Stop in and see them at their brand new showroom at 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. Andy Rickoff and Mike Abindi here with you inside the Great Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center, producing over 175 million gallons of ethanol per year and roughly 400 tons of livestock feed per year. Theraldson Ethanol, you can fuel your future and join their growing team today at theraldsonethanol.com. Congratulations to our winners in that last segment of NDSU men's and women's basketball tickets. Also want to make sure we mention, today, since it's a Friday, is your chance to win the ultimate tailgate package from Bud Light, the official beer of the Bison. All you need to do is text the keyword, which is on our Facebook page. It's been sent out multiple times this week, Bison 1660 on Facebook. I'll give you the keyword right now. It's beer. Text beer, BEER, to 701-476-1660, and you'll be registered to win the ultimate tailgate package from Bud Light, which includes, well, some Bud Light and also some glasses to drink it in that are NDSU engraved as well. That stamp of NDSU and Bud Light on them to up your tailgate game here with our friends from Bud Light on Bison 1660. One of our winners of tickets, believe it or not, was the Icon. And the Icon also wants to ask us a question on the Epic Companies Hotline. Icon, how you doing today, sir?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I just got to say real quick, I know you guys don't care, but this is the first time I was actually caller number 2, and I actually won something for being the second caller instead of the first caller, which was amazing.
Yeah, you typically are the first caller every time, so this is kind of surprising, actually.
Right. But anyway, I am looking forward to this year's men's basketball season. Everybody talks about, Griesel left and Edie and all this stuff. But, one thing that people need to realize is Dave Richmond always finds a way to not rebuild, but reload. And, since Yori Collins took over for Wallstad, he's put this team on the collision course. How many schools can say that they got the Gophers coming to play because we got a stellar team? So I just want to make those points, and I expect the women to go far in the Summit League tournament, and I expect the men to at least go dancing again. I'll hang up and listen to your comments. Thanks, bud.
Thank you, Icon. I'm right there with you. If you want to count out Dave Richmond, do it at your own peril, because right when you think, okay, this team is just not good enough. And also, most teams in the Summit League, you lose players like Rocky Cruiser, Sam Griesel, Tyree Edie, plus the rest of the players that left. You'd probably be preseason number 8 or 9. Not NDSU. Because people assume they've got players. They've got guys. And it's not just Grant Nelson. It's not just Andrew Morgan. They've got a couple other dudes. And, that speaks to the level of competitiveness of Dave Richmond and how he usually gets his teams ready by the end of the season to compete in the Summit League tournament. They win a lot of games in conference, and it's just a really solid program. So don't count out Dave Richmond. This team's going to be absolutely just fine. Go see them on Sunday. You'll see for yourself. They've got some serious talent on this team. And then also, on the women's side, Icon, you're absolutely right. It's going to be a fun team to watch. I can tell you, for a team with a lot of new faces, they are extremely close. There's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of just fun moments. They get along extremely well for a bunch of new players. They did have a trip to Greece over the summer that I think helped this team come together quite a bit. But they are extremely close for a team that only has 6 returning letter winners from a year ago and really only has 2 returning starters in Abby Schulte and Heaven Hamling. Katie Hildebrandt started 1 game last year, so returning starter, okay, but she started 1 game. So you really only have 2 returning starters. The chemistry on the floor looks really good, and the chemistry off the court is phenomenal. It's a very close, very fun group to be around, and that game against Minnesota is really cool. And just like Jeff Kolpack said, props to the Gophers for doing it, for coming up and playing NDSU and spreading the game. The women's game does it a lot. I'm really happy they do. I think the men's game should do it more. Go to some different places, build that game, build the sport. I get why it doesn't happen. Those teams want the home gate, the home revenue. There's a lot of money at stake. I get that stuff, but I wish it would happen a little bit more, where you get more of that spread of the game to different, more, I guess you could say, rural communities. And I think it's really cool because there are going to be a lot of people, not just from Fargo, not just from Moorhead, but from like Barnesville, Pelican Rapids, Fergus Falls. Like, there's going to be kids from that surrounding area that see NDSU in Minnesota. Let's go watch this game. This is really cool. Let's go see it. And that's really awesome for the game. It builds it for the next generation, and that's an awesome thing. So I'm really happy they are doing that as well. By the way, our show today brought to you in part by Men's Hair Company. Men's Hair Co., the official hair, or your place to go, your home team for haircuts, and the supporter of NDSU here on Bison 1660. But your place to go for haircuts, waxing, shaves, beard care, and more. 5 Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo locations to choose from, so go with the home team for your haircuts this football season. And also brought to you by Red River Commodities with Sun Butter, the makers of Sun Butter, delicious ingredients and simple ingredients as well, delicious flavor from Sun Butter and chocolate Sun Butter. Had some chocolate Sun Butter last night on some toast. It's phenomenal. Put some sliced bananas on there. Really, really good. Free of the top 8 food allergens and grown locally in the tri-state area. Produced right here in Fargo at Red River Commodities as well.
So, what kind of toast, Andy? White, wheat, rye?
Wheat toast.
Wheat toast.
I think it's healthier. Probably isn't, but
no, wheat toast is
that's
healthier.
what people say, but then you'll see some article comes out that says wheat toast really isn't healthier for this or that or that. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm always
I've been told it's healthier.
A white toast kind of guy.
Okay.
It's just the traditional thing for me.
I'm sure chocolate Sun Butter would taste just as good on white toast.
It does.
With sliced bananas.
It does. I've never put bananas on toast.
Really?
Never.
I'm a big fan. Yep.
It would work.
Yeah. Slice up a banana, put a little honey on there or something. Chocolate Sun Butter, another option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was something my grandma turned me on to as a kid. Sliced bananas with butter and a little bit of sugar.
Whenever I think of bananas, I think of the Blue Jays pitcher where he's like, banana, take away cramps. You don't remember that?
No idea what you're talking about. That was very strange, though. I kind of let you just sink or swim on that.
Yeah, a little bit. But
bananas, take away. I mean,
eat,
take away cramps, but who was the pitcher?
Eat banana, no cramps. Okay. You have never seen that?
I have no idea. It sounds like a line from Major League is what you're saying right now.
No, this is
that sounds like Pedro Serrano. Banana, take away cramps. I eat banana before game. Something like that. Jabu says eat banana. Let's go away from whatever you're talking about back there. Maybe Steve on the text line or on the phone line here has an idea what you're talking about. Steve, calling us on the Epic Companies hotline, 701-476-1660. Steve, do you have any idea what Micah was just talking about there?
Not a clue. I've never had bananas on toast either, and I'm a whole wheat guy.
There we go.
I was just kind of wondering, any news on or updates on any injuries for the Bison football team?
Okay. Well, I love the call. Appreciate you calling in. Thanks for that, Steve. In terms of injuries, I mean, we know the ones that are out, right? Like Noah Gindorf not going to play, Jalen Sundell, Eli Mostar. Although I hear Eli's maybe starting to get a little bit closer, but it's still a long ways to go for Eli as well. We'll see if anything happens towards the end of the season, if they can have a long playoff run. James Kaiser, good. Kobe Johnson, good. I think we've seen that now. You're good on that front. Other injuries, I think they're pretty healthy outside of that, I can't think of anyone's. I asked some of the coordinators earlier this week, and it sounds like, for the most part, pretty healthy, other than just bangs and bruises and bumps. But Hunter Lipke, it's kind of a pain management thing. He's been able to manage it just fine, so I think Hunter Lipke is going to be good to give things a go there. And overall, it's a fairly healthy team at this point, knock on wood.
I hope we keep it that way. I travel down from Fargo. Right now, I'm just coming into St. Louis for the game down there in Carbondale.
Okay, love it. Enjoy the game. Thanks for calling in, Steve.
Yep, you bet. Go Bison.
There you go. Horns up. Go Bison. Steve giving us a call on the Epic Companies hotline. We did have a couple of texts to get to. We have to make sure we get to the over-unders from Dave and Minot. That will be in our final segment. I know Dave's probably listening. We will get to those, Dave. Guarantee you. And congratulations to Dave and Minot on answering your extremely difficult trivia question yesterday, apparently.
I didn't think it was that much. I thought it was simple. But I guess once we say, like, in Bison history, they're like, oh, we have to go back when they maybe threw less, which obviously NDSU back when they were running the veer, the option, they threw a lot less, so you would assume maybe
completion percentage is higher,
yeah,
but maybe not enough attempts.
Yep.
For the minimum 100 attempts. I said it incorrectly.
Yep. Minimum of 100 attempts, and Cam Miller, if he stays on track this season, he will break his own record.
Yeah, he's at 69.7, pretty close to 70% right now for one Cam Miller. He's very accurate. That's one thing you can say about Cam. And he runs the offense, does it efficiently, doesn't turn the ball over, lets the running game do exactly what it's supposed to do. That's not an insult. That's not like scrappy. I'm not calling Cam Miller scrappy, because that we've learned that's probably backhanded compliment a little bit.
Yep.
He's more than scrappy. He's much more than that. But it's not a bad thing to be a game manager either. And he manages the game extremely well and takes some shots, too. We've seen that throughout the year. Against SDSU, took some shots, completed some big passes down the field. So he can do that, too. But the efficiency of the offense, you have to be good on first down. That's one thing about this team. They haven't shown the capability when you get, 2nd and 15 to be able to get the first down on a consistent basis. You got to stay ahead of the chains on first down, and completing a little 5-yard pass keeps you ahead of the chains. That's totally fine, and Cam's doing a great job of those things.
Oh, for sure. When you can complete nearly 70% of your passes, and you're getting those passes to 7, 8, maybe 9 different receivers, you're making your pass game very, very tough to guard because they can't focus just on Hunter Lipke. You have Stoffel at the tight end position. Zach Mathis, Braylon Henderson, DJ Hart are all coming along this season, improving every single game. Tough to stop here late in the year.
And some stuff from Jake Lippy, too. So plenty of receivers out there. See if they go 5 wide this week. I don't know if they will, but it happened a couple of times a few weeks ago. 5 wide, no running backs. Didn't happen last week.
5 wide, 5 fullbacks on the field.
All fullbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Direct snap to Hunter Lipke. Who even needs a quarterback? Just fullback you, baby. In fullbacks, we trust. Speaking of which, how about staying ahead of the chains? First down on offense and defense. Getting them in second and long and staying in second and manageable. Key to the game, brought to you by Consolidated Communications for the game against Southern Illinois. Our keys to the game brought to you by Consolidated Communications, the only data center in the area that is SOC 2 certified with tested, reliable systems in place to protect your valuable data. For scalable, cost-effective data center solutions for your changing business needs, go online to consolidated.com/data center. And send in your texts right now, texting BEER to 701-476-1660 to win the Ultimate Tailgate Package, and text in a picture of your tailgate spot. You and your buddies, you and your crew at the tailgate lot, or where you're going to be watching the game this weekend from as well, and you can be our Twin Peaks Tailgater of the game. Every week we pick our Twin Peaks Tailgater of the game. They win a $100 gift card to Twin Peaks. If you're a fan of Twin Peaks, then sign up for their e-club. They stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. TwinPeaksRestaurants.com. Eats, drinks, scenic views. Back to wrap things up on a Friday on The Insiders next.
This is The Insiders on your home for NDSU sports. Bison 1660.
The holidays. The season is upon us. And when you play Santa and load up on holiday gift cards, Sickies will get you more. $25 gift cards will get you 5 bonus bucks. $100 in gift cards scores you an extra 25. Think of it as your holiday bonus for visiting Sickies. Explore new delights that keep Santa jolly, like signature Kobe beef burgers, mac and cheese bowls, wings, appetizers, shakes, and oh, did I mention 50 burgers and 50 brews? SickiesBurgers.com. We'll see you at Sickies.
Hey folks, don't let bad credit hold you back from buying a car. Corwin Public Wholesale can help you get financed today. Visit corwinwholesale.com or stop by their location on 38th Street South in Fargo. Corwin Public Wholesale has helped thousands of people who have bad credit, no credit, bankruptcy, repo, divorce, or late payments. And with their financing power, Corwin Public Wholesale can get you into any vehicle today. They accept all credit applications. Apply today, drive today at Corwin Public Wholesale.
Are you an electrician? Are you looking for a change? JDP Electric is looking for commercial, industrial, and service electricians. JDP is looking for both journeyman and apprentice electricians. You could start your career today with a family-owned and operated business who's been serving our community for over 20 years. Full-time positions available with great pay and benefits. Call 701-232-1991 or email info@jdpelectric.net. Start your new tomorrow today. Come be a part of the JDP difference.
What's worth seeing in your life, and what's seeing worth? This holiday season, Vance Thompson Vision invites you to give the gift of sight to someone you love. With the most experienced doctors, advanced technology, and world-class care, you can make the region's most advanced LASIK procedure this season's best stocking stuffer. To learn more about changing lives through the gift of LASIK, call 877-522-EYES or stop by Vance Thompson Vision today.
If you're looking for a towing company that has graduated to the next level, you're looking for All Pro Towing. All Pro Towing specializes in heavy duty and light duty recovery. All Pro Towing is there for lockouts and jump starts and tire changes. Plus, they're available 24/7 for all emergencies. So when you're looking for a real pro, you need All Pro Towing. Save their number for when you need a tow. 701-541-3900.
Bourbon lovers are a distinctive group, embracing the differences from other spirits, all while expecting the rich variation of a good whiskey. That's why the Fistful of Bourbon folks, who have over 100 years of whiskey blending experience, are born to serve to those lovers of good bourbon, creating the masterpiece of blending 5 distinct bourbon whiskeys, sweet, balanced, and floral, with notes of cinnamon and licorice and buttery toffee. Fistful of Bourbon delivers a smooth, rich, full-fisted flavor like all top-shelf bourbon whiskey should. See it all at fistfulofbourbon.com. Please consume Fistful of Bourbon responsibly.
Wimmer's Diamonds is all about love, family, and celebrating both. Hi, I'm Aaron Wimmer, inviting you to visit us at our beautiful new showroom. Let us help you find the perfect, exquisite reminder to celebrate your love for that special someone. Whether it's a lifelong love or a new commitment, for 103 years, Wimmer's Diamonds has believed in celebrating love. Wimmer's, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
November is Diabetic Eye Disease Awareness Month at Eyes on Broadway and Rexine Family Eye Care. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Rexine, your downtown eye doc. Did you know those with diabetes are at higher risk for eye disease? Reduce your risk by maintaining a healthy weight and diet, staying physically active, refraining from smoking, and getting your annual eye exams.
Set up an appointment with Dr. Michael Rexine or myself, Dr. Vanessa Manlove, at michaelrexine.com, with locations in both Fargo and Mayville.
I promise you will see the difference.
No one wants to think about it, but winter is here. Make sure your vehicle is ready at one of the 3 locally owned Jiffy Lubes of Fargo. Oil changes are the #1 maintenance item that's neglected. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, it's easy. No appointment needed. Just drive up and drive in for your signature service oil change and a free charging system check to ensure your vehicle will be ready when you are. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, proudly serving the metro area for over 40 years.
About a month ago, we had some unexpected plumbing issues. We called Valley Service Mechanical in a panic and were pleasantly surprised with the professional that came to our rescue. He took the time to explain the issues to us, and you could really tell he enjoyed what he was doing and the pride he had representing Valley Service Mechanical.
When your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz, call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. Online at valleyservice.net.
Hear that? The herd is headed your way. You're hearing from the insiders right here on Bison 1660.
What happened to you?
Huh?
What happened?
Just crap.
Just a cramp?
Yeah, just crap.
So you told me what can you eat to help you make you feel better?
Bananas.
Yeah. Why bananas?
Monkeys never craps.
There you go.
You know, monkey
it's
never
real.
crap.
It's real. Micah wasn't just making it up. That's a real thing, apparently. I had never heard that before. I had no idea what you were talking about.
One of the best interviews. It wasn't during a game. It was. It looks like just outside of practice, maybe. But it was gorgeous.
Would have been even better if that was like an in-game interview. Player gets taken out. Why'd you get taken out? Cramp. What can you eat next time to make sure you don't cramp? Bananas. Monkeys never cramp. Who was the player? It was an infielder, not a pitcher.
Infielder. If I pronounce it correctly, Minonori Kawasaki.
Probably didn't pronounce it correctly, but that's okay.
Yeah. 8 years ago, he played on the Toronto Blue Jays, and that was his interview.
Monkeys never cramp. It does make sense. Okay, so it was real. You weren't just completely making it up, at the very least. We do all of this has created quite a stir on the Epic Company's text line, I guess. 701-476-1660, the text in. We have someone that texted in about this. Let me see if I can find it again here really quickly. Something about bananas and the potassium in them. There's so many people texting in right now. Pat Rock saying, hey, guys, great job today. Appreciate that, Pat. Good luck to Jake this week. Some other people texting in. That's from November 5th, November 11th. Where are we at? I'm going to find this eventually. Sorry for the delay. And there we go. Darla Jean. I believe potassium bananas would help keep muscle cramps at bay. So, backed up by the scientific research of Darla Jean. Potassium in the bananas. Yeah, I believe it is the potassium. Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Also,
monkeys, a banana a day keeps the cramps away.
Yep. I don't think that's what NDSU football does. They usually go with the Gatorade.
Mm-hmm. Electrolytes.
But maybe they add that to the thing so they don't cramp.
Maybe
eat a banana.
Do. There you go.
2 or 3 bananas a day.
One more update for you from Dakota Bowl 2022. Cavalier up 14-6 on New Salem Almont, the Holsteins. New Salem Almont Cavalier Tornadoes. Cavalier was up 14-0. New Salem Almont with a nice touchdown there to pull it back within a possession, but weren't able to capitalize on the 2-point conversion. This hour of the Insiders, by the way, brought to you by Wimmer's Diamonds on a Friday. For 103 years, they've watched you fall in love and stay in love, providing beautiful reminders to celebrate all your special moments at Wimmer's Diamonds. New showroom at 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. David, by the way, messaging us on Facebook, sending us a message. You can message us, Bison1660 on Facebook, on our conversation about North Dakota reclassification. Says, Fargo North enrollment 9th through 12th grade is over 1,000. Valley City in the same division is just at 380. So more controversy.
Ooh.
I didn't say it was perfect. There's still some things you got to work out. It's not perfect, but it's never going to be perfect because in North Dakota you've got such wide variations with your metropolitan areas of Bismarck and Fargo, and then your valley cities and central, Castletons and Wahpetons. It's never going to be perfect, but I think it's better now than it was before.
Yeah, for sure. It's tough to compete when there's that much of a difference when we're talking about like the north side of Fargo and then the south side of Fargo. We just have a lot of people down on the south side. That's where people want to be. They want to be on the south side where Micah Bindy's at.
Yeah, and me. I'm south side as well.
South side?
More me. It's definitely more me.
Oh, yeah.
We do have the over-unders from our good friend Dave in Minot we got to get to. So give me a little football bed music if you can. Over-unders. We'll get these from Micah Bindy, get his thoughts on this as well. Dave's over-unders for Bison versus Salukis. He says, the Bison need to make sure to keep Baker in the pocket and not allow him to make plays with his feet. Also watch out for Javon Williams Jr. in the Wildcat formation. Both of those things very much true to Dave. Over-under Bison 275 rushing yards. Southern Illinois giving up only 100 yards per game on the ground. Do the Bison get 275 or more?
Over. It's going to be not a bad weather day, but not a great one. It's getting a little colder. The Bison are going to pound the rock. Over.
I'm going to go under. So they're going to go 250. But 275 is a big number, I feel like. I feel like that's a big number. But they got a good defensive line. They're going to throw the ball a little bit. I think it's not unthrowable. 10 to 20 mile per hour winds, you should be okay.
No, it's not unthrowable, but I think NDSU, they're on a roll. We're going to dominate.
I'm going to go 250 yards on the ground, so I'm going to go just under that one. Over-under Southern Illinois 120 rushing. Javon Williams Jr., Roe Elliott, by the way. Ramir Elliott, now Roe Elliott, really, really good running back.
I'll go over.
I'm going to go over, too. And that's just kind of been the story of the year, right? The running defense hasn't quite been there. I think it's better now with Cole Wisniewski playing more. So that's the one area. I wouldn't be shocked if they go under because Southern Illinois is going to throw a ton. They will. Nick Baker's a great quarterback. They got two really good receivers. But against this passing defense of NDSU, it's been difficult. I think you're going to see some more running attempts from Southern Illinois. And then over-under 16.5 passing attempts for the Bison.
Ooh.
16.5.
16.5.
So no pushes here.
I think this game will be close. So I'm going to go over. Cam Miller's going to have to pass at least 20 times in my mind.
I'm going to go over as well because I think it could be close. And that's going to lead to some passing. And again, a good run defense. They're going to stack the box and take away the run. They're going to try to. So that's going to be some one-on-ones for DJ Hart, Zach Mathis, and everybody else out there. Tight ends, Braylon Henderson, another one out there. Jake Lippy, anybody else at the receiver position. They're going to have a chance to make some plays.
Cody Malk. Cody Malk's going
Cody
to
Malk could catch one.
Yep.
Could catch one. Congratulations again to Cody Malk and Hunter Lipke on getting named to the Reese's Senior Bowl and accepting those invites. How about Hunter Lipke as well in the passing game? Maybe we see another wheel route. Haven't seen that for like a month here. Where'd the wheel route go?
Hibernation, just like we are, because it's winter outside now.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we have to do one more key to the game. I think it's fair to say our key to the game, eat bananas, don't cramp. Monkeys don't cramp. So key to the game, brought to you by Consolidated Communication, eat bananas and don't cramp up on the field. Consolidated Communications brings you the keys to the game, and they provide high-speed internet and phone services for businesses of all sizes. Contact Consolidated Communications today to speak to a representative, and Consolidated Communications has the expertise to translate technology into solutions that fit your business. That does it for the week. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., our coverage starts. Bison Report Show with Ross Uglum. Live coverage on the network starts at noon with Rob Hipp, Cole Jurek, Phil Hansen. Bison trying to get another win, and I think they get this win. They solidify themselves a seed in the playoffs as well. On the road in Carbondale against Southern Illinois. Congratulations as well to the winner of our Ultimate Tailgate Package. That would be Reggie. Gets the win of our Ultimate Tailgate Package here this week. We're ending the show now, but we're doing it by giving away more tickets. Call in right now. Caller number 4, 701-476-1660, and you win the final 2 tickets to NDSU versus Pacific for men's basketball and 2 tickets to NDSU women's basketball against Valley City State on Monday. Caller number 4, 701-476-1660. Best of luck to all the teams and all the players in the Dakota Bowl 2022. We'll talk with you again tomorrow, getting you ready for Bison and Salukis. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Cardinal IG would like to shine the spotlight on their employees celebrating November anniversaries. Peter McCarr, Mustafa Muhammad, and Sean Wenger are all celebrating 5 years. Nathan Poitra, Yam Yak, and all